does that are always just trying to be pretty. I'm just shouting at the TV, just throw it on the net. Just throw it on the net, get a good bounce, and good things will happen. The more shots you take, and I felt like the Avalanche were doing that last night. Like, I don't think it was lacking for that, but I do think at certain times there was a lack. They just didn't match the intensity.
It felt like they were afraid to take bad shots, and therefore they took a lot less shots than I felt like they should have.
Yeah, and I just had this sinking feeling the more the game went on, and yes, they were up 1-0, but I'm like, dude, this is exactly the type of game they lose, right? Because they don't finish off. They toy with their food. They don't finish off their opponent. And then if the opponent gets one goal, then you're like, all right, well, we're in trouble here, because that's exactly what happens. They get one goal, and then they know they just need one more, and they get it home. And, by the way, what do you think? Like, I thought for large stretches of the game, I don't think Wedgwood was the problem, right? Like, he actually played very, very well in spots. I don't know. The two goals that mattered, the two goals that he gave up, I wouldn't call them soft goals, but they're goals that you want a championship quality goaltender to make. They're saves that you want him to make, or goals that you want to stop. But I don't think it was all on Wedgwood. But it's that problem where you put all the pressure on the goalie and you don't give him any breathing room, and that's how you lose a game like that. And I want to keep the faith, but Joe, man, 0-2 heading into Las Vegas, and knowing the history of this team, how you feeling?
I mean, on one hand, this is the kind of team that absolutely can come back from losing 2 games at home. I can't think of too many teams that have done that in the history of sports. I know that it was the 95 Rockets, I believe, that went down 2-0 and ended up going on to win a championship. This was in like the second round or whatever. It doesn't happen very often, but it definitely feels like the Avs have that kind of moxie to do that. But, man, without Cale Makar, the defense just looks off. And like you said, if they're not going to play better in front of Wedgwood, then I don't think going to Blackwood is necessarily the answer, except maybe to give him a kick in the pants. But I feel like it's possible. Anything is possible, to quote Kevin Garnett. And they need to just, I don't know, man, buckle down, figure it out. Maybe they do need to pull Wedgwood just to show the defenseman, like, hey, you just got your goalie pulled.
Yeah, I don't. By the way, I can't remember who I was arguing with last week on this point. Like, well, you pull the goalie to get a spark. Dude, what are you talking about? You pull a goalie if he's just letting in bad, soft goals. Like, the goalie, in my opinion, that's not how you get a spark. Like, right? Like, the guys in front of, like, I think when the last time Wedgwood did get pulled, like, some of the goals were unfortunate goals or the lucky bounces, and a lot of them, in these playoffs, a lot of the goals have been because the guys in front of them have been incredibly soft, right? But I don't think pulling the goalie like lights a fire under your team. If anything, it's a concession that things aren't going very well, right? And so, like, the guys that run offense for you, not your goalie, need to step up and play better, and they have so much talent on this team. It's incredibly maddening, and we'll be talking about this throughout the show. Like, what are we looking for here with the Avs and the Nuggets? Like, I think, and again, I don't want to, let too much out of the bag, but, dude, I think it's going to be a long, 20 years. It's going to be we're entering the cold, dark, lonely winter of the Avs and Nuggets. And what I had preached about for years is let's not waste what we have here. So a lot of conversations on that. I just don't, like you said, I know it could happen. It's like that Brian Regan skit. He's like, yeah, I love it when the reporter always says, is this a must-win game? No, we can lose tonight. Technically, we can lose tonight and tomorrow night. But that wasn't, I don't want to, but that wasn't your question. A must-win game is math. It's not a mindset. It's mathematical. Like when the other team only has to win one more game in a series, that's a must-win game, right? Now, could it happen like you were saying, Joe? It could. it's highly unlikely.
So would you say this is more of a must-win game, Dan, or a can't lose?
Yeah. Now, having said all that, it's funny because Game 3 is absolutely a must-win for the Avalanche. I mean, it just goes without saying, right? Brian Regan aside, it's a must-win game. If they lose Game 3, man, I don't even know how they don't get swept. Like, how embarrassing would a team of this level of talent, how embarrassing would it be? I mean, and that's what you're looking at. Like getting swept. I want to know how you guys are feeling out there. 303-713-1043 on the RamosLaw.com text line. And this whole, Mikhail Makar's out, blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, one play, it's hockey. Like, very few sports can one player, can you go, well, all right, yeah, that probably sank him, right? Like if, Nikola Jokic goes down, yeah, okay, we're not going to expect the Nuggets to win. But if, Nate McKinnon goes down, I would still expect them to be one of the better teams in the league because they're that deep. In football, if you lose your quarterback, let's say, I don't know, you lost Bo Dix and you had to start, what's his name? Stiddy, right?
Jared Stidham.
Well, that could be highly problematic because the quarterback is just that important. And I know Cale Makar, he may go down as the greatest defenseman of all time when it's all said and done. But this team is so talented, you should be able to absorb those losses. That's what was driving me crazy. We're running promos when Zach Bye saying, well, if we don't have Aaron Gordon, the Nuggets have zero chance of winning an NBA championship. It's Aaron Gordon. He's like the third or fourth best player on the team. That's a team problem, right? And then it was like, well, if they don't have Aaron Gordon and Payton Watson, they don't have a chance. Like, what? So I'm sorry. Like the Avalanche are so much more talented. I mean, they might get swept by a team that fired their coach this year during the season. Remember when the Broncos had to fire Nathaniel Hackett? Like, that's what we're talking about. Like a mid-season coaching change, and you may get swept. It's just maddening. I want to know how you guys are feeling out there. 303-713-1043. And then, if you want to give James a ring there, young man, we're going to have James Marilat from DenverSports.com. Oh, man. Can you imagine? I can't wait for this. And you want to know why? I'll be honest with you. You want to know why? Because James has been right. It's been staring the Avalanche in the face, and James has been saying this for years. It was a similar thing to Michael Malone, right? Like coaching. Like, dude, I'm sorry. Jared Bednar seems like a very nice guy, a very good dude. But, man, how many years do you have to have the best team in the league and flame out, particularly like I was telling Coach Wickstrom, particularly in a sport which is known for giving the quick hook to even championship-level coaches. And we're talking about, like, winning the cup and then losing to an expansion team and then failing to get out of the first round. And then now, I mean, these are, embarrassing type failures. This isn't like, the Avs couldn't get past the Stars back in the late 90s because it was just a slugfest. Like, we're losing to the Kraken. It's just inexcusable losses. We're getting swept at home by a team that made a coaching change during the season. It's just hard to understand. All right, we do bring into the program our good friend James Marilat, brought to you by the Birdie Bar in Louisville, the premier indoor golf bar in downtown Louisville, locally owned and operated. Find them at birdie.bar on the web and Instagram. James Marilat, are you with us?
I'm here, Dan. How are you?
All right. Sledgehammer, I guess, is your walk-up song today. I'm just going straight to it, James. What do you make of it last night? I know you're not happy. I'm not happy.
No, not happy at all. I tried to tell you a week ago. I said, hey, they didn't play well in game one. They didn't play well in game three. They didn't play well in game five. And they got away with it, and you poo-pooed it just like everybody else.
Did you pick the Golden Knights to win this series, James? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you remember a week ago I said, look, the Avs are either going to win this thing in 5 or they're going to lose the series. Like, if they let Vegas hang around and they mess around and they, don't come out ready to play like they did in games against the Wild, it's eventually going to come back to bite them. And here we are. They weren't ready to go in game 1. They weren't really ready to go in game 2 either. Now, they had a 1-0 lead after the first period, but if they hadn't have, that would have been the 5th straight game where they didn't score a goal in the first period. So clearly they're not ready to go. Clearly the other team's coach has a plan that it takes them a while to decode. And Jared Bednar just, rolls out the pucks and the sticks and says, go get them, boys. And it's not working when you're going against a team that's well coached.
Do you give him at least credit for not reigniting as far as we know, reigniting the goalie controversy?
I mean, I guess, but seriously, Dan, it would be laughable if that was the move he made at this point. I mean, Wedgwood gave up 2 goals last night. They did nothing in front of him at all, essentially for the entire game. So if that was the move he played or move he made, the card he played, it would be so laughable. I think even he realizes that everybody would see right through it. So I guess I give him credit for not doing something foolish, but that clearly wouldn't be the right move.
All right, James, I do my best to keep you accountable. More than any other host on the station, I try and keep you accountable. But I got to be honest here, man. You've been right about Jared Bednar. Like, how many times does he have to screw this juggernaut up before the Rockies wake up and go, we're wasting everybody's prime? It's not just Jokic's prime on the other side. Like, we're wasting Makar's prime and McKinnon's prime and, like, all these guys. Like, how many years does he have? Like, how many chances does he get? You were right.
I don't know. I don't know. And I said it last year and I said it the year before. And everybody, said, you got to give him one more year. It's like, well, at what point do you finally look at this and say, enough is enough, right? Like, I think it's even more egregious than the Nuggets. Like, the Nuggets, other teams have passed them by. OKC with a bunch of great trades, San Antonio with the ping pong ball bouncing their direction and they get a generational player. Like, I'm not giving excuses on that front, but there were factors outside.
No. James, you want to know why that's bunk? Because they didn't lose to those teams. They lost to a C team that didn't have their best players. So that excuse doesn't fly.
No, and you're right. But there's no excuse for the Avs. They've had the best team for essentially a decade, Dan. And this is only the second time they've been to the Western Conference Finals. They've only been to the Stanley Cup final once. Now, yes, they won a cup, and that was awesome, and we all enjoyed the parade. And I get that it's hard to win a championship and all the excuses you hear, but if they lose to a team that had 95 points in the regular season, the Golden Knights would have finished 4th in the Central Division. They would have finished 5th in a division out east in the Metropolitan. Like, it's just laughable. And here they are in this type of situation, and it's why the playoffs are different. Like, Jared Bednar's fine in the regular season because he's got the most talented team, and it's one game at a time, right? You don't play 7 games against the same team where adjustments matter and game plans matter and strategies matter. And here we go again where he's going to lose to an inferior opponent. I mean, how many times have they lost to a team that was seated ahead of them? I guess Dallas last year because they had to play Game 7 on the road. But by and large, it's against teams that they should have the advantage. It's the Seattle Kraken of the world, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They just keep bringing him back and letting him squander McKinnon, Makar, and this core. So the excuse this time is going to be, well, he didn't have Cale Makar. He still has by far the most talented team. I mean, if that would explain it as, well, he can only win it if he has basically the best Olympic team going, and anything short of that, he can't win it. Like, that's laughable. It's an all-star team when Makar's out there, and it's still an all-star team even when he's not out there. So for this to be happening, for them to be down 0-2, I still think they have a chance to come back and win this series. Tomorrow night is obviously the key. But if they lose this series and they don't make changes, I don't know why anybody keeps buying tickets. I really don't.
All right. At Joe Pompliano on Twitter. Stan Kroenke is on a generational run right now. In the last 5 years, his teams have won the Super Bowl, LA Rams, NBA Finals, Denver Nuggets, Stanley Cup, Colorado Avalanche, and Premier League, Arsenal. He also owns SoFi Stadium, which has hosted the Super Bowl, the College Football National Championship, upcoming World Cup matches, and the 2028 opening-closing Olympic ceremonies. Not to mention, Kroenke also recently became the largest private landowner in the United States with 2.7 million acres. That's roughly the combined size of Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, and San Antonio. James, I guess we owe Mr. Kroenke an apology. We're too rough on him. He's clearly a great owner.
He's clearly a great businessman.
Yeah.
And he does have good teams. He does.
Sometimes.
But all of those teams have also won one. The Avs have won one. The Nuggets have won one. The Rams won one. Arsenal finally won one. Like, people, across the pond were not fond of Kroenke prior to them finally winning one. And it's also like, okay, that's fine. And that's a group of them that have all happened here in the last 5 years. But it's also, the Avs are now in the second time they've been in the Western Conference Finals in 24 years. That's not exactly a run of success in my mind. Yeah, the Nuggets have been to the Western Conference Finals 3 times, once in the bubble, once when they won the championship, and once with Melo. Like 3 times in 24 years. That just, and I don't really care about the Rams, don't really care about Arsenal. Those aren't the teams I root for. So, sorry, but 5 trips to the conference finals in 48 years is not exactly just, man, what a juggernaut. We couldn't ask for anything better, couldn't ask for anything more. I think that's a laughable spin job on the part of whoever put that tweet out.
All right, so they kept Adelman. I think we know why they kept Adelman, right? If you listen to The Drive and Zach Bye, like, they're in a financial Armageddon, so why would you pay a coach when they're probably going to have to rebuild this thing? The Nuggets are done. It's over. They got themselves, and credit to the Kroenkes for paying that repeater tax or whatever for a long time. Now the Bills do. I don't even blame them for not doing that. I do blame them for not getting competent coaching in here to maximize their roster. But are we at the same point with the Avalanche, or do we at least have another 1 or 2 years of huge embarrassing failures before that team is done and we got another 15 years of, futility?
I think their core is still young enough that there's plenty of years left in their primes. I think they'll still be a cup contender. I think you got to go do something like Vegas did and bring in an experienced coach and a guy who's a proven winner and a guy who, doesn't put up with the nonsense of this team. And it's why I was upset after the Wild series, even though they won in 5 games, is they didn't show up in game 1. They didn't show up in game 3, which they lost. And they didn't show up in game 5, which was a closeout game. And they got bailed out because they put up 2 goals in the final 3.5 minutes and then won in overtime. That, to me, is on your coach. You're not ready to go. You're not ready for the moment. You're not ready to play. And the easier thing to do than to totally rebuild the team is to change the coach. And everybody gets on me, all you want to do is fire coaches. No, I don't, but it's the logical thing to do. Like, if you bring in somebody else and you get the same result, okay, then it's the players. If you bring in somebody else and it's not the same result, then it was the coach. It's the scientific method, right? And you change one thing at a time, and you change the simplest thing first. That would be the simple move. So, I would think if they don't get it done this year, it's got to be a foregone conclusion that they make a change. But, people don't like when I say this, and I tweeted it last night. The Kroenkes continue to bring in JV coaches. Michael Malone, they brought him in after he got fired by the Kings. Nobody was looking for him, looking to hire him. He was one of the lowest paid coaches in the league. After they fired him, he got a grand total of 0 NBA job interviews. Ended up taking a job at North Carolina. Didn't interview for a single job. Everybody said he was going to get the Knicks job. They didn't even talk to him. And Jared Bednar comes in after Patrick Waugh just decides to leave a month before the season. And he's the head coach of the Lake Erie Monsters at that point. And nobody was interested in him, and nobody was bringing him in. So, if you continue to have the lowest paid coaches in the league, if you continue to let assistant coaches leave, like Micah Nori and Jordy Fernandez, because they can get more money as an assistant coach elsewhere, if you continually let front office people leave, Masai Ujiri, Tim Connolly, because you don't want to pay them, it's a sign that you're not willing to invest in the product. And that's a place, and Zach Bye says this all the time, and he's right, you can win on the margins. There's no salary cap for front office. There's no salary cap for coaches. That's just a commitment to winning and how important is it to you. And that's where the Nuggets and the Avs cut corners, and it continues to show up in the playoffs when coaching truly matters, because again, in a 7-game series, it's about adjustments, and they're woeful in making them.
All right, James. By the way, nice job choking on the trivia question. Steamboat, the largest city north of.
Well, Dan,
come on, man.
In my defense, Greeley and Loveland are at exactly the same latitude. So I eliminated those two because it's like, well, they're tied. They're both equally north. So it can't be one of those. So then I started thinking outside the box, wound up in Steamboat. I know.
You've been there. You know how small that town is, man. Shame on you.
I'm sitting there now.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. All right, stop by the condo. Make sure everything's in good shape. James Merrillat.
I'm a little disappointed you're not here meeting me at Winona's, but we'll do it another time.
Yes, absolutely. James Merrillat from DenverSports.com. We will talk to you on Monday.
All right, sounds good, Dan.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause.
Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown.
On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head with Zach By in 100 Holes for Kids. 100 holes of golf. It's a one-day event all to raise money for Recruiting Classroom, whose mission it is to help kids play sports. Who will raise the most? That's where you come in. Pick your player, make your donation, and help kids win. To support Brandon Stokely, head to StokelyCares.com. To support Zach By, head to ZachCares.com.
Jacob's Law, 303-LAW-4040, 303-LAW-4040. I have to come clean. I put out some bad information in the ad that's running right now, A Tale of Two Cousins. I was talking about these two cousins, and I said one took $3,000, and the insurance company said, yeah, we'll pay your medical bills, and then they stiffed her, right? And then our client, they tried to, force her into a lowball offer, and we got $1.1 million. Well, I was talking to that cousin yesterday, and she's like, oh, yeah, my cousin only got $2,000. I said $3,000, $2,000. That's why we're here. The insurance companies they have their bag of tricks, and they're going to try and get you off the hook because their responsibility is to their shareholders. Our responsibility is to you. Once they get you to take that quick $2,000, they're off the hook forever. We're just here. Most of our clients are like, hey, man, we're not looking to get rich. We just don't know what to do. We don't know how this works. That's why we're here. We're here to help. It's 303-LAW-4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303-LAW-4040.
What's going on, guys? Philip Lindsay here, and I know there's at least 50 of you listening to me right now who are thinking about popping that question. And if you're ready for all that, you know you need a diamond. So let me save you time and money by telling you something as simple as this. Whether you're starting your next chapter with your perfect diamond engagement ring, or celebrating a new milestone, or finally just doing something special for yourself for once, this is where it's going to begin. Imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you feel just like family, and their service is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They have every size, shape, and price range you can imagine, in the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secrets of the business with you, they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue, and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to mention my name, Philip Lindsay, when you step through one of those doors.
We're living through a monetary crime scene, and your IRA or 401k is a key victim. Hi, Dr. Ron Paul here. In 1971, gold was $35 an ounce. After the dollar was cut loose from it, inflation soared. And in just 9 years, gold hit $850. People who diversified into precious metals survived and thrived. Today, we're in a worse position because we face inflation and massive debt. Fortunately, gold is still an option. My trusted friends at Birch Gold Group can help you own gold inside your retirement account without penalties or taxes. Start now by getting a free info kit on gold. Text the word SECURE to 989898. We're facing the same monetary chaos as the 70s with significantly more debt. Get your free info kit from Birch Gold. Just text SECURE to the number 989898.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here for Xfinity. Imagine Wi-Fi so intelligent, it actually fixes itself when something goes wrong. Imagine Wi-Fi that reaches every corner of your home, every room, every floor, every dead zone gone. Wi-Fi that makes everything in your home work together seamlessly. Now imagine it's built for speed and power by fiber. A network with 99.999% reliability. So whether you're streaming, gaming, or working from home, it just works. And that's not just fast, that's a security blanket for your entire network, protecting what matters most. Now, here's the best part. Lock in 5 years of predictability at the same price, no contracts, no commitments. Everything you need is included, your data, our best equipment, and the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi, all of it. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply, select plans only.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Markdowns for Miles at AutoZone.
Thanks. Is oil marked down?
Save up to $15 when you buy 5 quarts and a filter.
And fuel treatment?
2 for $9 on Lucas.
Brake pads?
Marked down to free.
Free?
Get free Duralast brake pads when you buy 2 Duralast rotors.
That's several markdowns.
For many more miles.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Progressive knows you think the grass is always greener, like maybe you ride a motorcycle. But today, it's raining. So you wish you had an RV, but if you did, you'd have to listen to some guy parked next to you at a campsite plays acoustic guitar. Now, before you start wishing you had a boat, remember, your brother-in-law would invite himself every weekend.
Permission to come aboard, Captain?
But one thing that is greener is the money you could save when you bundle your RV, boat, or motorcycle with your home or auto with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
All right, we're figuring this thing out. I guess there's, I don't know what's camera on. There's some of you listening or watching on our Denver Sports 104.3 YouTube channel. Hello to all you on the Champ Honda. It's the camera to my left. Oh, it's hey, how are you? On Champ Honda chat line, YouTube chat line, Roy Osborne 1066 says, I fly out to Vegas in the morning. I almost sold my ticket and fly home. Yeah, you want to go out there to sell the ticket? I mean, you don't need to go out there anymore to sell the ticket, but come on, man. Like, who doesn't want to go to Vegas? Like, Vegas is always fun to go to. Go to the Sphere, man. I've been there a couple times in the last, I don't know, month. It's amazing. It's amazing. There's no Eagles playing there right now, but
just imagine being there for the start of the Avalanche's amazing comeback.
That's right. Absolutely. So, yeah, it is frustrating. It is frustrating. And I was on ESPN Radio Las Vegas a few days ago. Got some friends out there. In fact, I was on with Adam Hill. We'll check in with him tomorrow on this program. But I'd said, there was a question, and I'll ask you this, Joe. You like the hockey. So you like the hockey. And I said, I went out. They said the Vegas Golden Knights have a reputation as the most hated team in hockey, and asked if Colorado fans hate the Vegas Golden Knights. And I said to myself, well, we should, because the last thing I remember was I flew out to cover them, I guess it was 5 years ago, and the Avs were up with a 2-0 series lead and got smoked. And I left Las Vegas having scored as many goals as both Gabe Landeskog and Nathan McKinnon combined in that, those 2 games. I'm like, so we should hate them. They robbed us of a surefire cup, right? But I never got the sense that we hate Vegas. And now with their new coach, they're kind of jerky and they, pulling jerky stuff with the media and stuff like that. So maybe we should hate them. I've never perceived them as being hated, but perhaps we should. I don't know, Joe. Do you think Colorado fans hate the Golden Knights?
Not necessarily. Give me a couple more fights in this series. Maybe somebody gets injured, and we'll talk to me then. But it could evolve into a pretty good rivalry. But it feels like right now, Avs fans hate the Stars more than any other team.
Okay, the Stars. All right, that's I'm trying to think about that. Yeah, I mean, they should, like, there should be a rivalry with the Blues because of what went down, 3 or 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Should be a rivalry. Yeah, I guess the Stars are kind of it. Now after this,
because it should be the Red Wings. It's just too bad it's not.
Yeah. No, my one of my favorite things with the Red Wings was we're watching. This was after he retired, of course, but Scotty Bowman's in the building, and we're up in the press box, and the press box is it's right up at the very top of the building, and if you're on the edge of the press box, you're just hanging out with the fans, basically, right? And so, and I don't know if they did this on purpose. I bet you they did. The Avs gave Scotty Bowman a seat at the press box, which was at the very, very end, front row of the press box. So right to his left is nothing but the 300 level fans. And they're just chanting, Scotty, Scotty, like trying to troll Scotty. And true to form, he doesn't say anything. He just starts looking up at his hand, all of his championship rings. It's like, just admiring them, and everybody's like, Scotty Bowman. Which is better than, the time Scotty broke up a fight between, I think it was Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. Clough and I just get into it in the press box, just screaming at each other, one step away from going through blows. And Scotty Bowman comes in and he's like, guys, come on now. Like he's trying to break us up, but like we're two rabid dogs. We won't, we're fighting over a parking pass. We're not to be separated. You got to throw a bucket of water on us to get us to separate, that type of thing. But, Scotty Bowman, he tried to break up the fight. Classic Scotty Bowman. So there's some sound I want to get to here, some post-game reaction, because there was some interesting things we did hear from Jared Bednar. Is this okay, Joe? Do we have the first one? Where Bednar, I'm wondering, I listened to this, I'm like, is he clueless? Did he not see what's happening in this series? Because, he's like, well, he's basically saying, well, we kind of got some bad bounces, and, I thought we got some good shots on net, but, the puck went their way, and he wasn't completely scapegoating his team, but he did a little bit in this clip say, hey, these weren't even necessarily on the goalie. Like if we had played hard in the incidents, the moments leading up to the goals that went against us, they probably don't happen, which I think is fair. But also he's kind of like, well, we just didn't get the breaks. So here's Jed Bednar postgame.
Listen, you're trying to play as mistake-free a game as you possibly can under tight checking circumstances. They're trying to do the same, right? So like I said, I think it's probably really even. I'd have to look at the numbers. You can check them from different sites. But goal one, they catch a little 3-on-2. We get back. And when we're late, just adjusting to it, and Eichel gets a shot, not from a great angle, and it goes in. I didn't love there's a puck that bounces out. Sam's going for it. And it looks like we're going to get to it, and we don't get to it. They get to it, and that's how the rush sort of starts to develop. But we get back in time, and we don't close it out. And then the second goal against is, we have it over the red line. We don't get it in. We get stripped from behind. And then we have it twice in the D zone, and we don't get it out, and they end up getting that shot. Both shots they're great shots, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we had lots of those and didn't put them in tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting because isn't that how they lost game one? Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, because my memory isn't so great, as great as it used to be. But weren't they were down 3-1. They got a goal. I think in fact, they pulled the goalie, right, to get to 3-2 in game one. And then they're still, so they got a couple minutes left. They're still rallying. And then the puck gets shot down the length of the ice. And it looks like an Avs skater is going to get there, but nope, they just got beat to it. Empty netter, boom, game over, right? So that's literally how you lost the last game. And then here you are tonight after this game where the coaches are talking about the same thing. Well, we thought we were going to get to it. They beat us to the puck. If you get beat to the puck, you're probably not going to win consistently. So why is it that the Avalanche, as talented as they are, as fast as they are, why are they getting beat to the puck in a game that they have to have at home? Like their season is essentially on the line. Now, can it happen? Yes, it could happen. Would it be the greatest comeback in the history of sports? No, it wouldn't be that dramatic, but it'd be pretty darn dramatic for the Avs to actually come back down 0-2 and win this series. But why have they put themselves in this position? Because what you're really talking about is effort, right? Like getting to the puck is effort, particularly when the coach says, well, it looked like we were going to get there. Like at the end of, on the replay, like when it was happening live on that empty netter in game 1, you're like, oh, we're going to get to that. Oh, no, we didn't. How did we not get to it? When you know your net is empty, how do you put yourself in a position to allow the puck to go the length of the ice and get rebounded by the other side for an empty netter? Just inexcusable. It's effort. That's how. Which is the same conversation we had about the Denver Nuggets. And then all of a sudden it was, well, it's not effort, it's athleticism. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Kristen Brown's not athletic. Jamal Murray's not athletic. Cam Johnson's not athletic. Like, these guys are, just, I don't know. It boggles the mind.
Oh, Dan, they're wasting the acquisition of Nazem Kadri.
Yeah, so but and by the way, I'm hearing this, right? Nazem Kadri's not playing well, which at some point is fair. Although last night, like, he generated some of their best chances. He also was hurt. But no, he needs to step. Like, I'm surprised he's not producing more. Now, Joe, I know. See, I knew as soon as I saw you today, Joe would be waiting for me on the Nazem Kadri front. To which I have a retort, which we'll get to on the other side. It's the Dan Jacobs Show right here on The Fan.
The Avalanche are in trouble. Colorado drops both games at home and now trails Vegas 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals. The urgency is real, and the Avs need their biggest stars to respond. Nathan MacKinnon, Martin Necas, and Brock Nelson have to lead the way as the series heads to Vegas. What's gone wrong for Colorado, and can they flip the momentum before it's too late? Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. I was checking in with the owner of DeerTrailMeatCo.com, Travis Valine, this morning. I said, anything new going on out there? Anything we need to know about? He's like, hey, we do have something new. Whole hogs available for barbecue. I've actually seen people do this on like a Traeger, right? Now, I would never do this because I'm too squeamish, but people actually do. They take the entire hog, and they just, I don't know, I guess they season it up a little bit, they split it open, and then they close it back up. And, sometimes you see it with the big concrete pits, or I've even seen a small pig on a Traeger, but you can just cook the whole hog, you get it juicy and tender, and then you serve it up for the entire crowd. It's a little bit of a wow factor thing, all right? It's a little bit of a badge of honor. You can say you did it. I'll probably never do it, but there are those of you that are listening out there that will dig something like that. So that's available. And, of course, everything else they're doing, delivering great meats, both beef and pork, to your front door with a money-back guarantee at a tremendous savings over the grocery and warehouse stores. That's what we're talking about. Check them out, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. That's DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
This deer season, John Deere wants to give you the home field advantage. We're bringing you the best offers of the season, whether that's cash off on select new machines or a shot at the ultimate Major League Baseball prize package. Because right now, you can enter for a chance to win an MLB All-Star experience for you and 3 friends, complete with travel and lodging for All-Star Week this July. Deer season is going on now through June 3rd. Visit johndeere.com/deer season to enter and view the offers and complete contest rules. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's Renter's Insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the 4 walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here, and there's no better time to get your yard looking good, and there's no better way to do it than with Rich Lawn. With the organic-based fertilizer, Rich Lawn Turf Food, you'll get greener grass and build your soil for a beautiful yard. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out Revive to revitalize your lawn for deeper roots and deeper watering. Get Rich Lawn and Revive products at your Home Depot or your local gardening center. With Rich Lawn and Revive products, you'll have your yard ready in no time.
Who helps keep Colorado's wildlife wild? Our people do.
Hello, my name is Patricia. I've been with Chevron for over 17 years.
Her team uses GPS to track where mule deer and pronghorn roam throughout the seasons. This data helps us take their habitats into consideration when planning our operations.
When we created our comprehensive wildlife and conservation program, it was really about what was possible.
Learn more at colorado.chevron.com.
This is Terry Wickstrom. I want to tell you about a great new partner to Terry Wickstrom Outdoors, Mad River Mortgage, your reverse mortgage specialist. If you want to secure your rest of life housing, maybe come up with some extra cash, or have a line of credit available to supplement your senior lifestyle, call my friend Mike Rabin at 303-396-2804 and ask about an FHA-insured home equity conversion mortgage, or go to madrivermortgage.com, NMLS 1504779.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
All right, let's get up to the text line real quick. This will set up a Dodger conversation as well. On the RamosLaw.com text line, Evan says, James, I agree. If not for Bednar, the Avs at worst would have 3 more Stanley Cups. Which coach should we hire? Again, that's from Evan. Now, I think that's a little overly optimistic. Like, because you're saying at worst, we'd have 4 cups during this era. The last, I don't know, what do we call it, 9 years, 10 years. I think that's a little bit rich, but there is a little kernel of truth there, Evan, which is, see, like Joe behind the glass, he's been saving this, and he thought, oh, I got you. Look, oh, they got for years, Dan, all you did was talk about how great, how great they would be with Nazem Kadri. Now he's back, and they're still going to flame out. Essentially, your point, Joe?
No, I just wanted to mention Nazem Kadri, really. Like, they're set to win a cup, and it's pretty much because of the acquisition of Nazem Kadri, right? So, like, it's really sad that they're wasting the perfect acquisition to win the cup. Although, Dan, isn't it already a foregone conclusion? Like, they got Nazem Kadri back. We're going to come back in this series.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The Nazem Kadri thing is fascinating. Now, my original point on Nazem Kadri has been they never should have let him walk in the first place. And I do believe they would have 1, maybe 2 additional Stanley Cups had they kept him when he was in his, basically his prime, right? And they decided, hey, we can't afford that or whatever. And, the Avs have been suffering the consequences since. Now, I was very excited when he got traded back. And I don't think, by the way, people are killing him like he's playing just as bad as everybody else. I don't think he is playing just as bad as everybody else. Now, no,
he's been pretty good, actually.
Yeah, like he's not like dominant Kadri, like he was. I guess it's Kadri, I think, right? But he's actually. Is there any doubt he's playing better than Brock Nelson? Right? Like the Avs have said, we value Brock Nelson more than Nazem Kadri. Well, to me, he's playing a lot better. Like the chances he's generating, even last night, like Kadri's playing pretty, and he's hurt. Right? Like he's got a hand injury, which is pretty darn. So he's tough. He embodies what you want. But even himself, like I would expect more out of him. But my point with him was, I don't know if he's not the same player or if he just doesn't, hasn't found his role yet because he's, getting shuffled around. The lines are getting shuffled around so much. I don't know. I do expect more out of him, but I expect more out of everybody. It is a little just perplexing. Yeah, like Brock Nelson is taking a lot of heat. People are coming after him. And, I actually think I've been pleasantly surprised throughout the playoffs how well Landeskog is playing. So I'm not going to kill him. But for McKinnon, dude, this is your time. right? And let me see here if I can find this text. There was somebody, and I don't necessarily agree with all of it, but somebody texted in.
The one that said McKinnon's not all that?
Yeah, it was like, McKinnon's not all that. Sometimes he's like sick, but most of the time he just gets the puck, skates really fast into like three guys and just, leads to nothing. And there is a lot of that with Nathan McKinnon. But at some point, dude's got to come through in the clutch. Like, if he's going to be the best player in the league, he's got to make it happen. And he has a history for most of his career where he doesn't. Like, it's generally like not that he's like a no-show. Like, in fact, I would say up until they actually won the cup, that was the chief criticism of both, I guess you could say Landeskog and McKinnon. Like, they would disappear when the going got tough. Now they won a cup, so you get to shed a little bit of that stigma. But I always attributed that. I gave more credit, 90% more credit, to that team that year, to the toughness of Nazem Kadri when things got tough again. He says, "Get on my back," and he's getting death threats, and he has to get a police escort, and he says, and he responds with a hat trick, and he says, "Get on my back." Right? And then he gets hurt, and then he comes back, and I believe he had a game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup Finals, even though his freaking wrist or whatever was, or thumb at the time or whatever, he couldn't even grip a stick. Like, that's the type of toughness that Kadri's had, that Nathan McKinnon, which is weird because that was the other thing the texter was saying, right? Joe was like, but then he's grumpy, right? Like, I'm not saying Nathan McKinnon isn't tough. He is tough. I'm not saying he doesn't want it. He does want it. I'm just saying
played better.
There's something missing, right? Like, I'm not saying he's not a dog. He's Nate Dogg. Like, I think, I don't know, man. Like, it's like that song. He's got whatever it is. It seems like Nate just doesn't have whatever it is in the playoffs when it matters, which is problematic.
Well, to be fair, he did hit that massive goal in the final game against Minnesota that did close them out in the series.
Yeah, I'm not saying
comeback. But
yeah, I'm not saying
that's the only thing he has. Is he the best player in the world?
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's a bum and he flames out and he's, the Peyton Manning of NHL or whatever.
Massive underachieving disappointment.
Yeah. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying, like, it's something seems to be missing. By the way, Joe, another text saying they thought, Joe, that you had tucked tail on us and ran away to the big weekday shows. What are you doing back?
Yeah, my guy Brian from Evans. Or is it Frank from Evans?
I think it's Brian. Brian from Evans. But so you're back on Saturdays. Go ahead and explain. Because people, like, I texted you. We would get texts on the text line. They missed Joe. There's like, where's Joe? So go ahead, set the record straight, because, there were some reports on TMZ and things like that, due to some misconduct or whatever, you had gotten demoted back to the Dan Jacobs Show. 100% not true. You did want to spend more time with your wife and kids, your family, right? So now you're back. But go ahead, explain it.
Yes, my totally real wife and kids, just like Mike Evans. No, after 6 weeks of Tai Fuji competing in the Kumite in, Hong Kong, the movie takes place? I forget.
Yeah.
He won the Kumite for sure. He made it back. So I'm no longer filling in on the morning show because Tai is alive and well. He learned the Dunmok. He's doing good. So now I get to do clipping stuff for the YouTube channel and Instagram and stuff like that. So that's kind of a fun, almost promotion for me. Mm-hmm. And then Johnny Fever, now Johnny Whiplash, asked me, do you still want to do Dan Jacobs on Saturdays? And I, of course, went, hell yeah.
Yeah. Now, when they came up with Johnny Whiplash, they're like, well, it could be Ramos Law. I'm like, no, dude. It's 303 Law 4040. Johnny Whiplash.
Are you going to sponsor Johnny's nickname?
That's why I told him I should sponsor him.
I love this.
Which, by the way, yeah, I can't say it. I'm not going to say it. But anyway, but with Ty, I was listening to him yesterday. He went away to a foreign country for 6 weeks with no phone. Like, he's like, yeah, I didn't want to pay the extra whatever. So the carrier charge. So I was carrier locked. So I just didn't have a phone. Like, I'd be scared to death to be in another country without a phone to, like, bail me out. Like, where am I going and this and that? Like, dude, is that not a frightening possibility, the thought of it?
I mean, that does make sense because we did have pretty much radio silence from Ty and didn't realize. I texted him on Friday, the last day that I covered for the show, because, of course, I randomly accidentally tried to hack into his email unintentionally. And so I texted him like, hey, man, sorry about that. And he responded. So maybe he got like some kind of online text thing or something, or maybe he came back earlier than we thought.
Well, it was probably a long travel day and he was back in airports or whatever. I don't know. But I'm know
just glad he's okay.
I know we're going to Ireland next month, and that's where people even speak English. I would not want to be there without a phone, so I can't pull up like Apple Maps or whatever. Like it's a frightening proposition.
Wait, you're going to Ireland?
Yeah, the DeLorean Fest, man.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. In fact, we can talk about it on the other side. Yeah, I'm the bad guy. Now, my wife and I talked it out last night, but I didn't want to drive. And plus, I'm going to be, at the DeLorean Eurofest. So my wife and all of her daughters will be running around this foreign country. And I hear the roads are like very, very thin. Like you don't really want to be driving. And by the way, it's the wrong side of the road, right? And so Matthew Broderick actually killed somebody driving like that. Not drunk, just confused because it's weird and the roads are not good out there. And I'm like, let's come up with an alternative. And so I come up with this alternative, which is basically we hired a private driver. Whoo-wee, did I get in trouble, Joe? I thought I'm being a hero, like looking after my Cubs. And no, that was, now she's okay with it. Now she's okay with a private, basically, chauffeur for 9 days in Ireland. But I was like, dude, chill out, honey.
I think it's kind of cool. Like, so it's somebody from Ireland, I imagine. So they're going to be able to like give you some advice on things to do.
Exactly.
And
like,
spots
yeah,
to
it's like
check
your own
out.
private guide that tells you all the good stuff. Hey, what do you want to do? I mean, they have some stuff laid out, but if you want to change and, oh, you like doing this? Like my wife loves waterfalls and lighthouses. Well, then boom, we'll take her to that. And so
I'm
thought
sure
it was
they have
awesome.
some lighthouses in Ireland.
What'd you say?
I'm sure they have some lighthouses in
Oh,
Ireland.
indeed they do. Like it's a coastal country. And waterfalls. They have waterfalls. By the way, did you know that Colorado is 3.8 times the size of the nation of Ireland? All right, so 1 hour down. It's the Dan Jacobs Show right here on a Saturday. Let's get into it next. KSC, Stan Kroenke, the greatest owners in all of sports. Generational is what we've been told. I want to unpack that a little bit and how one of my buddies took this opportunity and this argument to become like the next DMAC when arguing about it. All right, it's the Saturday edition of the Dan Jacobs Show right here on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Jacob's Law, 303 Law 4040, 303 Law 4040. I say in the commercials that most of our clients that call us that are just regular, just listeners just like you, they listen to the Dan Jacobs Show and they get in an accident. And they're not looking to get rich. Well, my sister heard me say that in the ad. She's like, why do you say that? It makes it sound like you don't get them very much money. I'm like, no, that's actually not true. Like, we get them more money than the big made-for-TV lawyers and things like that. But here's the deal. We had a guy, for example, that, like, he's like, I don't want to be suing my neighbor, this, that, or the other. In fact, if we have to sue my neighbor, I just don't want to do anything. We wound up getting him $1.5 million. You don't have to feel guilty about coming and getting some help. It's not about trying to sue people or get rich. It's about trying to get some help. You've been in an accident. It wasn't your fault. You're hurting. You don't know who's going to pay for what. You don't know what's going to be happening with the insurance companies. And the fact of the matter is the insurance companies, they're going to try and get off on the cheap. We're here to help. It's 303 Law 4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040.
In the playoffs, everything comes down to the buzzer. One shot, one moment, no room for error. In your facility, that moment hits when the power goes out. That's when experience matters most. For over 40 years, Piper Electric has delivered expert electrical construction, service, and maintenance, including fire alarms and large-scale power distribution. Their licensed electricians are built for high-pressure situations and complex projects. Starting something new? Don't wait for the last second. Make the smart call. Include Piper Electric. Visit piperelectric.com.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Here's the tale of Tina, searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Hot foot it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Between groceries, travel, and higher prices, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially if you're already relying on credit cards to cover the basics. If that debt is piling up, you're not alone. If you're a homeowner, you might have considered reaching out to American Financing, but hesitated because you don't want to give up your low mortgage rate. That's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan, a simple, smart way to get your finances back on track without giving up your low mortgage rate. Unlike a HELOC, which can fluctuate with the market, the Smart Equity Loan offers a fixed rate, so you'll have one predictable monthly payment. It lets you use your home's equity to pay off high-interest debt, free up your cash flow, and still keep your existing mortgage intact. There are no upfront fees to find out how much you can save. Call 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
They'll tell you marketing is complicated, that you need a dozen platforms, 100 dashboards, and a prayer. Forget that. Your customers are right here, listening to this station. Heck, you are right now. Tonight, they're streaming Denver's biggest games. Tomorrow, they're locked into the most talked about podcasts on the planet. We put you in all of it. Radio, streaming, TV, audio, one team, clear data, real results. We've been growing businesses like yours for years. Visit DenverSports.com and click the Advertise with Us button. That's DenverSports.com. Let's get to work.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Sentence is, how did you only win one? Some franchises across sports never ever been to a championship, let alone win one. In your defense, some have won a few in a short span, but it's rare. And then I didn't, man, these some people want instant results. He texted that in 11:28, and by 11:54, he's like, man, I even led with flattery, because he knows the policy on the show is flattery will get you everywhere, right? So we are going to talk about that here coming up in just a second. This barbecue show has gone off the rails. Sports. Is that all you talk about? Let's get back on topic and talk about barbecue. I know. I got to talk to you.
We're sorry.
I got called into the office, right? So Richie leaves. He goes. He's a big time boss in Sacramento now, and for the first time in like 8 years, I got remember the Bobs from Office Space? I got a consulting session. They hired people to listen to the show, and they're listening to that, and they're like, Dan, I tuned in, and it took you 23 minutes to start talking sports. And I was like, well, when I went back and listened to it, by the way, that wasn't true. But I saw
Was it 22 minutes?
Yeah, it was, it was like 13, and then I got back off track. You know what I mean? But some of those were commercials, too, in my defense. But they're like, hey, man, listeners, they want you to come in. They don't want to hear about anything else. They just want sports, 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 sports. So, yes, thank you, Texter, for at least noticing that I'm being a good company man. And we're turning the Dan Jacobs Show into every other show, just like every other show on the station. Sports, sports, sports. So there we go.
I mean, the non-sports is kind of one of my favorite parts of this show. So I thought about maybe trying to get a voice guy intro or something of Dan Jacobs just saw a squirrel and get into some barbecue or something like that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
We need to take our non-sports segments seriously here, Dan.
Right. Now I want to do, you tell me if this qualifies. Am I going to get in trouble for doing this? Now, I know I'm probably going to get a little bit of trouble because I'm mentioning, we're not all aware that there's more than one station in Denver, right? But I get into my car. So my daughter is graduating University of Denver, 11-time national champion, right? Well, excuse me. We're heading to the University of Denver. She's graduating from Cherokee Trail High School. Congratulations to all the graduates out there. And I don't like stress, right? Now, my wife had to take the daughter earlier, so I'm going to take my little daughter. She's 8 years old. Her name is Ellie. And I say, you know what? I have to pay for parking anyway. Why don't I just jump in an Uber, right? Sounds reasonable. Joe, does it not? Just, avoid the stress. They drop you off right at the front. You're done.
Absolutely. I enjoy taking Ubers to events, especially somewhere where, I might have a drink or two.
Yeah.
I think using an Uber is a responsible thing to do, Dan.
Yeah. So we take the Uber down there, knowing that I'll just ride back with the wife. I jump in the car, and I'm hearing DMAC, right? And so I was like, I said, just instinctively, I said, what are you guys doing? You're playing my competition. And he goes, do tell. And I said,
I'd be upset too.
And I said, well, I host a show on the weekends on The Fan. And he goes, what's the name of the show? And I go, The Dan Jacobs Show. And he goes, oh, yeah, yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, I've actually given you a ride before. I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm waiting for him to change the station. And I can see it's a digital display. I see the Fan logo there. So I know he's a loyal listener, right? And so I'm like, is he going to hit that button and change the station? Right? He never did. He just left it. He just left it on. I got to listen to DMAC the whole way.
Honestly, that's hilarious. And if I was the Uber driver, I would have done the exact same thing.
Yeah. So I don't know. Should that have affected his tip? No, obviously it didn't. But what's the protocol on that?
I would leave can you leave notes in a review? Leave a good review. Driver was great, except listen to the wrong sports radio station. # DenverSports 1043 The Fan.
I don't know. An Uber. I don't think you can. If you complain, then they will I think they'll say, why didn't you give if you give anything less than a 5-star, is my recollection, they want you to tell them why.
But can you tell them why you gave them a 5-star and then mention
No.
that he had the wrong choice in sports radio?
I don't think so.
That's too bad.
Now I'm trying to pull up this tweet. Now you heard me, or actually it's a conversation because it also reminds me of DMAC. Because we're talking about Stan Kroenke and the Kroenke ownership, and Chad is high on them. He's like, hey man, their system works. Look at what they do, whatever. And that's fine. They're having a nice run. Right? But also, let's be fair. They've won, I guess now because the Arsenal won the Premier League, five championships in close to 90 attempts with almost unlimited resources. And so Chad heard me saying that, and he says, the judge will shout 4 for 87 from the rooftops, bashing KSE's numbers, but never provides the numbers for the other non-Dodger multi-sport ownership groups that are doing so much better. Now, when I'm on for hours and hours every week, when have you ever heard me say that I'm complaining that the Kroenkes are not as good as other non-Dodger multi-sport ownership groups? What? Why is that the metric? I said, Chad, you're just like DMAC, right? Like DMAC will start an argument and go, well, let's just say for a second, and he'll list out 4 or 5 different things. Let's just say this is true, or this is the thing. So if that, blah, blah, then he reframes he sets the rules to the game that you never agreed to, and then says, see, I'm right. I'm like, no, what does it matter, right? If it's non-Dodger multi-sport ownership groups. And so I said, well, just off the top of my head, the Bulls won 6 championships in 8 years when they had the best player in basketball, kind of like the Nuggets do right now, right? The Patriots won 6 championships in 10 or 15 years? Niners, Blackhawks, Oilers, Canadians. Meanwhile, Nikola Jokic has been the best player in basketball for over a half decade, and they're about to dismantle the team right before the last part of his prime begins. And then Chad replies, well, yeah, but those are not multi-group sport ownership. Like, what does that matter? I said, it's very DMAC of you to try and set the table like that. What matters is they've had more resources and more opportunities to do it than probably any other, most owners in sports. Why is it better? He responded, well, those are mom and pops. Well, why is it better that a mom and pop can have a dynasty, but one of the richest men on the planet, the largest landowner on the planet, can't seem to make it happen? Why has there not been one dynasty when they've had the best players in the world? If you go, yes, to the texter's point, winning championships is hard. But it's not like, you know what also happens generally? We went through the list. The best players in the world generally get more than one championship. So if you have the best players in the world, some of the greatest players in history, and you fail as an ownership group to give them what they need to ensure that they win more than one championship, that doesn't make you a great owner. And yeah, I understand some owners never win any championships. Is that the standard here? Are we okay as a fan base about that? Yeah, it sucks to be a Cleveland fan. Even Cleveland has a couple NBA titles, don't they? Or at least one with LeBron. But yeah, I understand it sucks and the ownership sucks elsewhere. That's not what we settle for here. Joe, we have a bar of excellence, do we not?
I agree, Dan. And to me, one of the things that drives me crazy about the Cronkies is their unwillingness to just spend a couple extra bucks outside of the salary cap. To me, if you're paying 3 head coaches right now, but the one that you have on the roster is the one that you're going to win a championship with, I don't care that you're paying the other 2. I don't care about... I don't think you're admitting fault if you let David Adelman go. I think you were right to keep him as the coach. After the playoff series against the Clippers and the Thunder, taking them to 7 games, I thought keeping him around was the right call. And then I think also firing him after this year is the right call. And I feel like they're more concerned with the monetary aspects of that, of letting him go and paying too many guys, bringing in another guy. I just want someone that will get this team a championship, and I want an ownership group that is willing to do those little things. It's kind of like how we used to complain about the Monforts and how the Rockies always ranked last in all kinds of player polls and stuff. Why won't they just spend a few extra bucks?
Yeah, and it's like James said, and I think he was quoting somebody else on DenverSports.com, you win on the margins. And it's not even, to be fair to the Cronkies, sometimes they do spend, like with the Rams, they spent as much money as it took to get that one championship. And with the Nuggets, they've been giving out bad contracts. Well, why do they give out bad contracts? Because they go cheap when it comes to spending the money on executives and coaches, which don't count against the salary cap. That's where they're the cheapest, and that's the biggest, I think, criticism is. Because I admire the model. I understand what they will sell you, which is, hey, we hire good people and we empower them to do the jobs, right? And there is definitely value in that, but you ultimately have to make the course corrections when that's not working. With the Avalanche, given the level of talent that they've amassed, the coaching simply isn't working. How many times do you have to suffer? Again, these aren't oh man, tough, hard-fought series just happened to come up short. Now, yes, you could say that with the Stars last year, but it was an early exit. And for the most part, they're embarrassing exits. With the Nuggets, they're humiliating exits. You need to hire the right leadership to make sure that you maximize in these incredibly short windows. I've been saying this for a long time. Like, they are going to waste both the Avs and the Nuggets windows. And it is staring us in the face. I think it's a foregone conclusion with the Nuggets. Done. Nikola Jokic, his legacy will be really great player for a while, but he's not one of the all-time greats because he couldn't win. He couldn't win championships. There's no other consensus top 10 NBA player that has won fewer than 3 championships other than Wilt Chamberlain, who has 2. And by the way, Zach Bye doesn't even think Wilt belongs in the top 10 because of that. And there's only one other top 15 player that doesn't have at least 2 or 3 championships, and I think that was either Dr. J or Oscar Robinson, something like that, and that's top 15. And, dude, unless the Avalanche pull off some sort of miracle here, then we're looking at – it's going to be the same thing with the Avs. What's going to be different? If you can't win with the teams they've had over the last 4 years, what's going to be different? The only thing that could, by the way, give them credit. The guys that run the Avs, like, they're trying, they're mixing things up, they're making trades, they're spending up to the cap and all that, but they can't hire the coach. That's where they go cheap. Well, he's a nice guy. Bednar's a nice guy, right? Nobody wishes ill on Jared Bednar, but dang it, man. Like, once this runs over, which it's looking like it is, it's going to be a slow descent into mediocrity, and then after 5 years of mediocrity, you know what you're staring at? You're staring at a bad product. And who knows if they ever, how long it takes for him to, it could be 20 years before we have a team like this with the Avs again, or 30 years, or 40 years. This could be their last juggernaut in our lifetime, and if they only get 1 championship, that's problematic. Joe, by the way, I had to bring this up. Jared Bednar's hair. I have been remarkably surprised by the amount of people out of the market that's what they want to talk to me about. Like, we're watching the games. Now, I was watching one of the early round games, and I don't know. Like, I've come to the realization that I'm a little traditional. I'm a little conservative, right? Like, I don't like all the tattoos and the piercings and the man bun hair things, whatever. That's not who I am, right? You want to do it? God bless you. I'm not down with it, right? But Jared Bednar, kind of a suave GQ kind of dude, he's been rocking this, I don't even know how you would describe that cut, right? This flowing kind of pretty boy, non-hockey. Well, I don't know. Hockey players like to have, a little bit of long hair. It looks a little, I don't know. To me, it looks a little goofy. And I'm talking to my wife, my lovely wife, Kimberly, and she's kind of saying the same thing. Like, yeah, that's just not working, right? And I just filed that away or whatever. And then I start getting texts as the Avs progress through the playoffs, and it's a serious talking point. Like this hair it's a serious, like people don't like it. I don't know. And I actually told this to Cecil when he was hosting with me on the draft a while back. I'm like, Cecil, what you don't understand is the rest of us are out here fighting for our lives, just fighting to hang on to what we have as far as lettuce goes. And here's you and Bednar and Michael Malone just taunting us, with these, I don't want to say goofy, right? Because, Cecil was, yeah. With this, he had spiritual thing or whatever. I'm like, come on, man. Like, Cecil has a great head of hair. Bednar has a great head of hair. High and tight. That's what we're going for, high and tight. All right, as promised, we welcome into the program our man from DenverSports.com, who was at the game last night, our man on the scene at Ball Arena. Will Peterson joins us. Scrappy Will Peterson, how are you?
I'm all right, Dan. How you doing, man?
I'm doing better than I deserve, but I'm not happy after what happened last night. Give us your reaction to what you saw as being our man right there on the scene.
Yeah, it was stunning. It was really, really disappointing. There's no other way to slice it. I mean, this team was supposed to win the Stanley Cup, and they definitely still can, I guess, in theory, but winning 4 of the next 5, including 3 in Vegas, is going to be a a monumental task. And I was sitting next to our guy, Anilo Piro, and we kept saying to each other, 1-0's not going to do it. You know, you need a second goal. And in that second period, they had a couple great chances, including one on that 4-on-4 where Nazem Kadri had an unbelievable pass to Nathan McKinnon right in the spot, and he missed the net. I mean, it happened, we're up high in 3:22, but it happened right in front of us, and it's like, how does that puck not go on the net to make it 2-0? And then you knew once Vegas made it 1-1, they were in trouble, and obviously made it 2-1 just a couple minutes later. And the Avs had a chance late. Brock Nelson, you know, who's only scored empty net goals in this playoffs. He's your second-line center. You gave him a huge extension last offseason. He has 2 goals, both into an empty net. Couldn't tie it 2-2, and then Vegas gets the empty netter to seal the win. So, Dan, I was on with Mike Rice doing our postgame show last night, and I told him, you know, people weren't running out of the arena yelling or cursing or whatever. Everyone just kind of walked out with their heads down. Like, people were stunned that not only did they lose 1, but they lost 2 to Vegas and sort of find themselves in this unfathomable 0-2 series hole.
So what's wrong with them?
Cale Makar.
That's it? Come on, Will. You know, you've watched more hockey than that. You can't just scapegoat the whole thing on Cale Makar. Did Cale Makar make Nathan McKinnon miss the net? Like, miss it completely? Has he made Brock Nelson suck in this series? Like, that's just too easy of an out, man.
Okay, but hear me out on this, Dan. He plays about 30 minutes a game when he's right. And people say it's hockey. How can it only be one player? That's basically what you just told me.
Yeah.
30 minutes a game is half the game. And so that half of the game, they are worse when he's not on the ice. And the other half of the game, they are worse because the guys who are playing when he's not there are now playing in roles that they're not elevated to or shouldn't be elevated to. So it literally affects the entire 60-minute game. And I asked Jared Bednar last night. It was a question that needed to be asked. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I was kind of sick of this. How's Cale? Oh, we'll see. You know, it's like, no, we need to ask a more pointed question about Cale Makar. So I said, is there urgency to get him back down 0-2, or is the timeline the timeline? And Jared Bednar made a statement that, you know, could potentially define his era in Denver. He said, this is up to Cale, and this is Cale's decision, and I can't make it for him. And you could kind of feel everyone in the media room go, whoa, okay, he just put the onus on the superstar defenseman to get back out there. It's not the training staff. It's not Jared. It's not Chris McFarland. It's not Joe Sakic. It's Cale Makar. So that is obviously a bit of a message from the head coach to the star defenseman. We need you, and we need you ASAP. Like Game 3, Sunday night, we need you. So it definitely is curious at this point that, you know, hockey players, we always hear they're playing through the hardest things in the world, and they are, because that's sort of their DNA. But right now, the Avalanche desperately miss Cale Makar, and the head coach basically told him, yeah, it's up to you, buddy. So I'll be really interested to see if he's out there tomorrow night.
Yeah, DenverSports.com, there's an article about it. I think you wrote the article too, but yeah, great question. This is a huge deal. Like, Jared Bednar doesn't do that. This reminds me when they did the Nuggets did the same thing to Jamal Murray, because Jamal Murray just didn't feel like coming back yet. He's not saying he's just not ready. He's saying whenever he feels like it, he should get back out there, but they can't do it for him. Like if a dude breaks his leg, they're not going to say, oh, well, you know, whenever he feels like coming back, he can't come back because he has a broken leg. So the inference is, in this case, nope, it's not something like that. Like, he can come back when he feels ready. I was shocked by that. How much controversy do you think, and do you have to worry now about Cale Makar being upset about that?
Oh, you're totally right, Dan, about the Jamal comparison. Because remember, Tim Connolly came on our airwaves, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, and said, the ball's in Jamal's court. And everyone's like, whoa. The GM of the team at the time just said that the star player, it's up to him. And obviously Jamal sat that out, and I believe that was Suns and 4 guy when Phoenix swept Denver. So, it clearly brought up memories of that in terms of Cale Makar being told by his head coach, it's up to you. And I think that it probably didn't make Cale feel very good, if I'm just being honest, because Cale is beloved in this town. He's a champion. He's a Conn Smythe winner. He's a Norris Trophy winner a couple times, nominated again this year. And it felt a little bit, and I'm trying to use my words carefully here, but it felt a little bit like maybe the head coach was questioning his toughness. Like, is that a fair statement to make? I'm not questioning Cale Makar's toughness, but when it comes from Jared Bednar, I think it sort of raises some flags. You know, I heard the narratives, you got to save him for the Stanley Cup final. What are we doing? This is the Western Conference Final. Like, this isn't round one against the poor LA Kings who had 90 points or whatever they had. This is Vegas, who, since they fired their head coach in late March, has been a wagon. They're not losing hockey games, and they came into Denver and won 2. Dan, I'll simplify it for you. I think if Cale Makar had played in the first 2 games, not only would this series not be tied, the Avalanche would be up 2-0. I think he's that big of a difference maker. They are down 0-2 because Cale didn't play, and I think they would be up 2-0 if he did play. And again, he's got a hip injury, he's got a shoulder injury, he's got a couple things that are bothering him. It wouldn't shock me at all if come July he gets surgery and is out for 6 months, but hopefully that would come after a parade, and the reality is they're not going to have a parade unless Cale Makar starts playing.
You think it's even too late for that?
It could be, for sure. The 2 things I'd point to, one, they had their best road season in franchise history. Like, they don't care where they play. They could play in Denver, they could play on the moon, they could play in Vegas, they can still beat these guys. So I told Zach and Phil last night, I was on with them at 5:15, I said, if they go down 0-2, come 9 o'clock, 9:30, there's going to be a lot of people on social media that write their obituaries. And that's exactly what happened last night. A ton of people went on social media and called the Avalanche dead. And if they lose Sunday, they're dead. You're not coming back from 0-3. But if they win tomorrow night, and all of a sudden you get Game 4, you come back to Denver 2-2. That's exactly what Scott Wedgwood told me. I asked him specifically about Game 3, and he said, no. Flip the script. They won 2 here. We're going to win 2 there. So, he didn't guarantee it or anything like that, but he said that's the goal. And obviously, I think the Avs feel like they can do it. So it may be too late. But also all these people who want to say they're done and fire Bednar and trade X player, Y player, yada, 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 just don't make grand statements that have a chance to blow up in your face, because I'm not predicting it, but I also would not be stunned, jaw dropped on the floor if come Tuesday night they're flying back to Denver in a 2-2 series. But that comes with a huge caveat, and that's Cale Makar playing the next 2 games.
All right, you learned from the best. You spat out those caveats, Will, just like James Merrill. I'm teasing. Hey, man, great job. We appreciate you. If you have time, I'll reach out to you, see if you can hook up on Monday with another postmortem.
Of course. Happy Memorial Day, Dan. And, yeah, if we chat Monday, it better be 2-1, because if it's 3-0, they are officially cooked.
All right, that's Scrappy Will Peterson. You want to react to anything he had to say? Your chance coming up next.
Avalanche, Golden Knights. It's the Western Conference Final, and Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan is all in. 1 hour before puck drop, we're live with full pregame coverage, keys to the game, bold predictions, and the intel you need. When the final horn sounds, we're not going anywhere. Instant post-game reaction. Every hit, every goal, every save. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. You know, my buddy Hector came out to visit me last weekend. We had that big barbecue party, and I put him to work. Like, I had him slicing and dicing and do all sorts of stuff. But he was more than happy to come because I loaded him up with a whole suitcase full of Deer Trail Meat Co. beef and pork. He was super excited. He's one of the cheapest guys I know, but he actually paid the extra, $65 for the suitcase on the way back just because he was taking home all this delicious meat, Meat Co. meat, DeerTrailMeatCo.com meat. It's fantastic. It's delicious. The sausages, we use some bacon. The breakfast meats are fantastic. But, of course, all of it gets delivered to your front door with a money-back guarantee, so you can trust you're going to be completely satisfied. Otherwise, you get your money back, and it's a tremendous savings. We're talking up to 75% off the prices you pay at the grocery store. I want you to check them out. DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
Stoke here for ROX, Rocks Heating and Air. Are you in the market for a new air conditioner? Well, hold on. You need to think about a heat pump. My team at ROX are Colorado's heat pump experts and rebate specialists. Get up to $12,000 in energy rebates and credits. These savings are incredible, but they're only available for a limited time. Only at ROX, Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX, Rocks Heating and Air.
If you're practicing real estate in Denver but still not getting the results you want, listen up. Agents who are winning in this market aren't guessing. They've got the right training, the right systems, and the right support. And that's exactly what you get at Weichert Realtors Professionals. Proven strategies to win more listings, technology that keeps you connected anywhere, and coaching that actually helps you close. Take your business to the next level. Call Tim Davis at Weichert Realtors Professionals at 303-302-4000. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here, and you can get a richer looking lawn with Rich Lawn. Using the organic-based fertilizer Rich Lawn Turf Food, you'll get greener grass and build your soil for a beautiful yard. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out Revive, the treatment to revitalize your lawn for deeper roots and deeper watering. Rich Lawn and Revive products are available at Home Depot or your local gardening center. With Rich Lawn and Revive products, you'll have your yard ready in no time.
When you care about something, you give it your all. Servicemen and women fought for our country. They lost their lives in the name of freedom for the Americans. Memorial Day is time to pause and give thanks for their sacrifice. My name is Jay Rickstrew for Alpine Bank, member FDIC. What does Memorial Day mean to you? Flags will fly at half-staff, grave sites will be visited. Town parades, moments of silence, and gatherings are some of the ways our community will remember their selfless, courageous men and women. Alpine Bank joins you in honoring those who made this ultimate sacrifice and commitment to America. We honor their families and loved ones. Alpine Bank, committed to Colorado and you.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Schedule a free inspection with Groundworks, the foundation and waterproofing experts.
Licensed in all states where work is performed.
Kind of a cool feature. We have top fans on the Dan Jacobs Show. The Honorable Judge, Dan Jacobs Live. And it has like a bio for me. Who wrote the bio? I didn't write the bio. But yeah, I'm trying to see our text or chat here. YouTube chat. It's kind of cool.
Is the bio flattering, Dan?
The Honorable Dan Jacobs, attorney, judge, and weekend host on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, delivers his verdicts on the Colorado's biggest sports stories. Each weekend, Dan breaks down the latest on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, and more. Joined by voices from across the Denver Sports 104.3 lineup, stay up to date with all the Denver sports and get the best coverage here. The only I think that's nice. Like it doesn't have future Hall of Famer in there. Barbecue Pitmaster could be in there.
Officer of the Supreme Court.
That's true. Officer of the Supreme Court. Should probably be up there.
Owner of a DeLorean.
Dude, I didn't tell you. I was owner of 2 DeLoreans for like a week.
What? That's awesome.
I got in so much trouble, Joe. I got into so much trouble. You're not going to believe it. So there's a site called Bring a Trailer. Right. And it says like bring a trailer. You can, bid on car. I bought the cheapest DeLorean that had been sold in 5 years on that website. And it was in the middle of a road trip with my wife and my mom and my stepdad and one of my daughters for Mother's Day and all that stuff. And I didn't know what to do. Like, do I tell her? Right. Because usually,
always tell her.
You come clean. And you tell her, and then you're like, I take your lumps. I was clearly in the wrong. I shouldn't have bought a car without telling her that, right? But I didn't know what to do. I'm like, I'm just going to tell her, right? So we get in the car because we had stopped. And so what I did is I put in this, what I called a knockout bid, like, hey, if I get it at this price, I'll be happy. Maybe it'll scare everybody off. Probably not. But if we win, hey, I got a really super cheap DeLorean. And I won. And so now I'm thinking to myself, do I just not tell her about it? Or, what to do? And so I told her, right? Joe, you said it was the right thing to tell her, right?
Yes, definitely. I feel like, especially if it was, so you bought it, I assume, for parts, I imagine?
No, I was going to put a Corvette engine in it.
Oh, that sounds dope.
Because, mine's so nice and, but I'd like one that, would have, it sounds awesome. My man, Derek Murphy at Parallax Auto was going to turn the wrenches and put it in there. Because Derek is like, the one, he works on the one for me I have now. He's like, it's too nice, dude. I would feel guilty. It's a mint stock DeLorean. I would feel guilty putting a Chevy engine in it. He said, find a different one that you don't mind just sitting in my house and we can work on it, however long it takes. So that was my reasoning. But I did. My wife and I were talking about this last night. I'm like, I thought, so the way she perceived it was like, oh, what, she didn't say this, but you coward. You told me, I had no clue it was coming. We just got back in the car, and now I have no way of processing it because you told me in front of your parents, you big baby. And so it turned into a bad thing. I'm like, well, yeah, but
I mean, when you put her in that kind of situation where now she has to respond in front of other people, yeah, that's a little rough.
I know, but so what would have been the right thing? Just not tell her?
No, just tell her when you're alone so that she doesn't feel like she has to react a certain way because other people are in the room.
I see her point on that, but I'm like, I didn't know what to do and I did the wrong thing. I told her. I thought, honestly,
you apologized, right?
I did, but
Well, there you go. You should be fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all said and done. Yeah, it's over. All good now.
Everything is fine, Dan.
Everything is awesome. So yeah. I thought I did the right thing. I did not do the right thing, but I sold it, Joe. So I got out there. So I went out, I took a quick trip and I took a look at it. I was like, dude, this is way too much work for me. Like, particularly because I can only ask Derek, to do so much. And, so by the way, the guy came and picked it up. I sold it to with a Cybertruck. So he towed away a DeLorean with a Cybertruck. It was pretty cool. On that. So yeah, and by the way, on this YouTube thing, this Shop Honda YouTube thing, it's cool. It has like top fans and all this stuff. So yeah, I like it. I'm getting used to it. So if you check in there, that'll also increase your chances of getting heard here on the show. In fact, let me pull up I'm just trying to figure out this technology, how to pull up the chat, which I can't do right now. So I will stop.
Hey, technology's difficult to work sometimes, folks.
Yeah. All right, by the way, this one's for you, Joe, on the RamosLaw.com text line. Right on. You're doing a good job, Joe. Great job, Joe. But don't tell Sean I said that. He has a fragile ego. That's from Lee the amputee. Yeah.
Shout out to Lee the amputee. He texted in earlier and said, I miss Sean. I prefer the judge with His Highness Sean. And so I responded, sorry, I'll be better.
Well, no, the funny thing about that is Lee the amputee is always fighting with Sean Boyd. Like they get mad at each other and they go back and forth. And I'm like the kid stuck in the middle.
Oh, Sean's told me that the comments don't totally like him, so I wonder if he's just referring to Lee the amputee, who we love. Please, tell us if you don't like us. We love arguing in the chat.
Yes. Dan, if you only talk about sports, I'm going to change the damn channel. I love the rest of the show. But Dan, did you make any dang money off of the DeLorean? No, I did not make any money. I just got my money out, and now I'm going to go use that money to go get a Corvette engine for my DeLorean. Like, hey, man, I don't care. Purists be damned. I'm going to make it the way I want to make it, so... let's see here. Here's one on the Avalanche on the RamosLaw.com text line. Oh, it's the one we were talking about earlier. When do we realize McKinnon isn't all that? Shot out of a cannon to nowhere. 5% of the time, it's all right. 95% of the time, he goes right into three dudes, and they're coming back just as fast. Also a sourpuss whose teams never win bleep, whether Canada or the Avs. Give me Eichel. Actually involves his teammates, not 1-on-5. He can't use his arm without it coming out of the socket. Haven't seen many one-armed NHL players. This is a 2-month injury. I think that's in regards to Cale Makar. Thank you, Texter. Put your name on it. We'll give you credit a little bit more next time. Jeff in Denver. Country Boy and Littlehammer had them winning the cup all this week. I went, dumb bleep. Are you feeling that today? I told him, we'll see how they play before you start talking. That's Jeff from Denver. Jeff, I'm sure I'm missing it. It's going right over my head, but who are Country Boy and Littlehammer?
That was my first thought too. I want to know, is that Cecil and Dover? Like Cecil Country Boy and Dover?
It could be, but why is Dover Littlehammer?
I can, you know what? I don't want to say.
I don't know. Like, we could come up with a nickname for those guys. Pretty boy and, I don't know, country boy. I don't know. But I don't get the reference. Jeff in Denver, text us back on the RomosLaw.com text line 303-713-1043. Country boy and Littlehammer. Go ahead. Let us know. You want to talk smack to whoever it is? I don't think it's Zach and Phil. It makes no sense with the morning show. So I guess, it's Dover and Cecil.
That was my thought, just process of elimination. I guess it's Dover and Cecil? I don't know. I just work here.
Yeah. Is Bednar calling Kale soft? Well, I think that's the point. That's why his quote last game was so, or after, the post game last night was so controversial. It appeared it was very un-Jared Bednar-like. And it's kind of like that movie. Remember Miracle? It's our favorite hockey movie of all time, right?
I think it's the best hockey movie of all time.
It probably is. I don't know, there's Slapshot, right?
The Mighty Ducks 3.
Well, no Mighty Ducks, but what was it? Mystery Alaska's actually pretty darn good.
That one's really good, yeah.
So there's a few to choose from, but this one, is on the based on Kurt Russell playing Herb Brooks on Miracle on Ice, and who is it? McClellan. I can't remember who it is, but the player that's from played for him at the U in Minnesota, and he's got a real deep bruise. And the coach Herb Brooks says, "Well, yeah, but what happens if he plays on it?" Well, it's going to be incredibly painful. He goes in, calls him soft, said, "I thought you were a hockey player," this, that, or the other. And the guy goes out, "You want me to play? You want me to play on one leg?" And he goes out, he plays on one leg, and they come from behind, and it's all glory. And I think this was Jared Bednar's attempt to have the same effect on Cale Makar. Dude, it's time. You need to come out and win and play and help us and lead your team back.
And I think he will. I think he plays in Game 3 tomorrow night, correct, is when it happens? I think we see Cale Makar. I think he comes out even if he's playing on one arm.
Yeah, but it's remember when Aaron Gordon tried to come out and play? He was clearly ineffective. Actually, a couple times. That last game, Game 7 last year, he tried to do it this year. I don't need a broken down Cale Makar. I respect Will and anybody else who has an opinion, but no, it's too big of a scapegoating process. It's just giving them too big of a pass to say, well, the Nuggets can't win if they don't have Aaron Gordon or Payton Watson. Get out of town, dude. Cale Makar. Cale Makar is a great player, but they are so deep on the Avalanche, and you can't. This is weird. This is the first time I've ever heard it in this town, where all of our championship expectations are relying on the teams being 100% healthy. It's just not realistic. Injuries happen in sports. All right, we'll continue this conversation. It's all Avs, all day, right here. It's the Dan Jacobs Show on the Fan.
Parents, looking for a fun way to get your kid active this summer?
Are you kidding me?
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan's third annual Be a Mentor, Be a Fan Youth Football Camp is back. Brought to you by Walmart. Saturday, June 27th at Denver South High School's All-City Stadium. Your child, ages 8 to 14, will learn the fundamentals of football in a safe, hands-on environment from people who played the game at the highest level. We're talking former Denver Broncos Mark Schlereth, Philip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, along with a trusted coaching staff from Denver South. And every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. So your family is giving back just by showing up. Sign up today at DenverSports.com/camp. That's DenverSports.com/camp.
Jacob's Law, 303 Law 4040, 303 Law 4040. I'd make fun of the big made-for-TV lawyers, but the difference is, it's me and my lovely wife Kimberly and Chris, our Darth Vader lawyer, but we're a small team, right? Awan and Michelle working back at the 303 Law 4040 offices. You're just a number at these big made-for-TV lawyers. Here's a great example. We had a guy, he didn't know who to call, so he called a made-for-TV lawyer, and they immediately said, well, the insurance company says they've denied your claim, so sorry, we can't do anything for you. So then a Dan Jacobs Show listener says, hey, you know what? Call Dan Jacobs. Call 303 Law 4040. So we met up with him and this young man and his mom at an IHOP, and we signed him up. We said, we don't know. Let's take a look at it. We took a look at it, and we said, hey, we called the insurance company. Said, you know how you denied the claim? That's BS. And they said, yeah, you're right. Here's $25,000, which is the limits of the policy. Boom. All we did was call their BS, whereas the made-for-TV lawyer was too scared. That's the type of service you're going to get. It's 303-LAW-4040. Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303-LAW-4040.
There's only one Ozempic.
Hello, I'm Ozempic, and I'm other GLP-1s, kind of like him. Ozempic, you redid your jingle? Ah, thanks for noticing. Catchy, right? No. Okay, then. Well, ask your doctor about which FDA-approved uses of me, the Ozempic pen, may be right for you. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and learn more about Ozempic semaglutide injection, 2 milligrams. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. There's only one Ozempic. Ah, I told you it was catchy.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Philip Lindsay here. Summer is coming. Time for hikes, golf, and family adventures. But if degenerative joints or those old high school sports injuries are holding you back, discover natural, pain-free relief with Regen RX. Their stem cell treatment, PRP therapy, and shockwave therapy could be the answer to reclaiming your active life. No surgeries, no downtime, and no risk. Get a free consultation today. Text the word PAIN to 303-630-9770. That's PAIN to 303-630-9770.
Tom's Garage Doors. Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
I started my first business at 12 years old, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I thought I was crushing it until my buddy down the street undercut me by $2. But he didn't just cut the price, he cut corners too. That's when I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People care more about how you show up and whether you do what you say you're gonna do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we crush it, and we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and the spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. Because when you care about the people you serve, you work harder, and it shows. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
Tom's Garage Doors. Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
This is Terry Wickstrom. I want to tell you about a financial product I personally really believe in. A home equity conversion mortgage from Mad River Mortgage, your reverse mortgage specialist. The HECM program's only requirements are to live in the home, do basic upkeep, pay property tax and homeowner's insurance. No monthly mortgage payment is required. For more information, contact my friend Mike Rabin at 303-396-2804 or go to madrivermortgage.com. NMLS 1504779.
It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
All right. Now, this is cool. So, I have the live chat up finally. Our YouTube, Denver Sports YouTube channel chat, sponsored by Schomp Honda. And I didn't even think about this. Here's the cool thing, Joe. For the first time ever, Dan Jacobs Show listeners get to interact with each other digitally, right? So, you text into the text line. I read your text, but you can't respond. I mean, you could say, you can't go back and forth with another texter. Well, here on the YouTube chat, is Chris Bro 22, Roy Osborne, who's our top fan. All these guys, they're talking to each other, which is cool. I think that's kind of a neat thing. Like, for example, Rosewood 393. How do the Avs always give up a second goal so soon after the first one? They just gave up anyways. And then there was another one on here. Somebody was calling out the fans. Or was this on the text line? It's basically, this is on the RamosLaw.com text line. Hey, Judge. The thing that is most disappointing is that the Avalanche fan base last night was pathetic. Are only the rich and quiet allowed to go to the game? Well, I wasn't there in person, so I don't know Was it just the wine and cheese crowd? I don't know. I don't know on that. But I was texting my wife's friend Sarah because she was at the game. I'm like, dude, this is on you. We need you guys to step up and carry this team to victory. And they obviously didn't. And so next time, if she has tickets, she should give them to me. That type thing. I don't know.
I'll take them.
Yeah, generally the Avs have a pretty good crowd. I mean, it was sold out. I don't know. But yeah, it's disappointing. Could it be Zach and Phil, Philip Lindsay Littlehammer and Zach Country Boy? Well, I thought about that, but Zach's not a country boy.
Yeah, from like upstate New York, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's rural,
the
but it's
country
not
in
country.
upstate New York.
Huh? Yeah, that's not country. Slapshot, No Contest, and none of those other movies can even hang in the same universe. Yeah, you guys that like Slapshot, you're always going to think it's the best. I do like the one part of the movie where they're explaining, what happens, when you get a penalty, and he's like, and then you go to the box and you feel much shame. Like I do like that part. What's up, Dan? Driving Home Depot this morning in Littleton, and not only did I see one but two Avs hats in the middle of the street. Hate to say it, but the Avs are cooked. Yeah, man. Like Avs, Avs. I don't know what do you call it. Avs Nation. It's not Avs Country, right? But Avs fan not happy today. And they should be. Like, why? Like, there was another, either on the YouTube chat sponsored by Sean Ponda or on the text line, somebody saying, so what? Like, if they didn't run into Dallas or the Golden Knights, then they win the cup, right? I think Rosendo sent it in. I'm like, I don't know that. Like, nobody walked into this series and said, well, I'm so nervous because the Golden Wild are the Avalanche kryptonite. If anybody, I kind of said something to the effect. I just said I'm nervous. Just like I was nervous when the Nuggets went in against the T-Wolves, and everybody else was saying, they'll roll over the T-Wolves. No big deal. Like, I was nervous because I witnessed it 5 years ago.
I was nervous too. I remember talking to you 6 weeks ago when I stopped doing the show, how I wanted anybody else but the Timberwolves. I wanted the Rockets or the Lakers because the Timberwolves front court worries me because of Aaron Gordon's health. Because without your best defender, you're not going to be able to stop anybody. And, it turns out they couldn't even stop the Timberwolves backup guards.
Yeah. So, okay, so they don't face the Golden Knights this year, so it's another team, right? Like, this is, for whatever reason, this is the makeup of the Avalanche, and it's also the makeup of the Nuggets. And I don't have the answer. I do think it has something to do with the way the Cronkies run things and the way the Cronkies go cheap on non-capped items. And I don't even want to say they go cheap on players because they don't necessarily go cheap on players, but they do go cheap on the guys that make the decisions. And it's weird because Josh Kroenke was a basketball player. He knows about Jordan doing very, very well and flourishing under Doug Collins and them firing Doug Collins anyway to bring in Phil Jackson and becoming a dynasty. Like, he knows how important that is, yet he hires David Adelman. Or he goes cheap, like James is saying. They went cheap with Michael Malone. Right? And this thing with Bednar. I was looking it up. So when the Avs won the Cup in 2001, Bob Hartley, pretty dang good coach. And players actually didn't like him a lot because he was actually very friendly with the media and he was a fun guy to kind of talk to. But he would ride them hard, and he was not a player's coach. And you would go in to cover them, and if they weren't playing well, they'd be over at Family Sports having hard, 2-hour practices during the season. Like, they weren't just, okay, well, we'll have a skate around and we'll rest. No, this is like, he ran them hard. And he says, we're going to play with toughness and grit. And he won a Stanley Cup. And unless I'm getting this wrong, the next year they were in the Western Conference Finals. And then he was fired by the next December, 30 games into the season. And it's been this will be the fourth offseason where they flamed out since winning the Cup. Not one or two. Like it happens in hockey. Hockey's one of those sports where it doesn't matter how well you did before. If you aren't getting it done, then you're out of here. And I even finally, I think it was after last season before he got hired by Anaheim. I said, Joel Quenneville's sitting out there. A coach that could come in here and who has got 3 cups. He's a proven winner, and he knows how to deal with talented rosters. Why are we going cheap when for 3 years in a row, one a year, you lost to an expansion team? The Avs had a disappointing departure. Nope. And then guess what? Somebody else hired him, and they're already in the playoffs. So I don't know, man. I don't put it all in the Cronkies because this Cronkies conversation is they're not the worst owner in sports, but some people act like they're great. Like that tweet I read, like, generational, blah, blah, blah. Well, some of that is just personal. Yeah, so what? He owns a lot of land. Yeah, he married a Walmart heir and leveraged that into being one of the biggest landowner in the United States. Good for him. I don't begrudge him anything. But what I do think is when you own professional sports teams in a city, it's not like owning a video store or a mechanic shop or a landscaping business. Like, people are, the city is emotionally tied to you, and I think you have some sort of responsibility. Like a lot of owners say, we understand we own the team, but we're really just its caretaker because it really belongs to the city. And we have a responsibility outside of just normal business to try and do the best we can to make the city proud and, if possible, deliver championships. And we don't see that out of the Cronkies. For them, it's nice, but it's business first. It's nice if the fans can watch it on TV, but if it happens to run afoul of my ego, then it's not that important. And if it's not costing us dollars on the bottom line, then we're not going to do anything about it. I mean, there's a reason why. I don't know what kind of reception he gets in LA, but I know in St. Louis and with the Arsenal and with the Avs and Nuggets, there's a reason why he can't even go on the ice in his own facilities or floor or pitch, because he gets booed. Because he's not a great owner. He's not the worst ever, but don't act like, he's got this system that's got it figured out. It works. Well, most of the time it doesn't. And most of the time it works better when you have the type of players like McKinnon and Jokic. Most of the time it works a lot better.
And Matthew Stafford.
All right, so 2 hours down, one more hour to go. It's the Dan Jacobs Show here on The Fan.
The Avalanche are in trouble. Colorado drops both games at home and now trails Vegas 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals. The urgency is real, and the Avs need their biggest stars to respond. Nathan McKinnon, Martin Necas, and Brock Nelson have to lead the way as the series heads to Vegas. What's gone wrong for Colorado, and can they flip the momentum before it's too late? Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com. It's fantastic. We just had a blowout party, graduation party last week, and it was so delicious. We had so many meats. In fact, we had so many meats. I had this picanha, which is just delicious. I had my buddy Hector slice it up and we put it in the little warming drawer. We had so many meats, I forgot about it, right? I put it in there to warm it up a little bit. I came back the next day. The warming drawer was still on, and there was still meat sitting in there. Now, I didn't eat it, but that was just so much meat, and it just made so much more memorable. Like, so many people, like, they can't stop talking about, man, you threw a great party, Dan, and it created great memories. Well, that's through, in part, the magic of DeerTrailMeatCo.com, because they will deliver delicious beef and pork to your front door, and they do it with a money-back guarantee. And here's the kicker. Everybody's complaining about gas and inflation, all this stuff. Look at beef prices. Look at pork prices. They deliver it to your front door at tremendous savings, up to 75% off what you pay at the grocery store. Check them out, DeerTrailMeatCo.com, DeerTrailMeatCo.com.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone says they can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal, because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, and whatever else you can do with your phone. All for half price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. It's wild. Now all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all that extra money. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to XfinityMobile.com, or visit a local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Savings compared to one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees extra, $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal, book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
What's going on, guys? Philip Lindsay here, and I know there's at least 50 of you listening to me right now who are thinking about popping that question. And if you're ready for all that, you know you need a diamond. So let me save you time and money by telling you something as simple as this. Whether you're starting your next chapter with your perfect diamond engagement ring, or celebrating a new milestone, or finally just doing something special for yourself for once, this is where it's going to begin. Imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you feel just like family, and their service is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They have every size, shape, and price range you can imagine, in the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secrets of the business with you, they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue, and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to mention my name, Philip Lindsay, when you step through one of those doors.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs.
All right, final hour of the Dan Jacobs Show. RamosLaw.com text line. This texter had a couple ones here I want to get through. The Val playoff conundrum is more confounding, but I think 29 has a lot to do with it. He might as well be bleep, 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 bleep. I can't read the rest of that text, sir. But from what I've heard from buddies that go to the games, it's a complete cronky wine and cheese atmosphere. Hard to get pumped up if your ears aren't bleeding. I'm trying to think. I mean, the last Avs game I went to, it was fine. Like, do we have a reputation in this town? Now, we used to with the South Stands, right? In Mile High Stadium. We used to have a reputation for, man, that's a hard place to play. Like, it's scary. The building's rattling and this and that. I don't know. Is there any, I'm just putting this out there. I mean, certainly not Coors Field, right? Like, is there any place where, other than maybe because of the altitude, and, that's a place you don't, as an athlete, you don't want to go. But like where teams go, oh man, I don't want to go there. Like the black hole, I'm going to get hit with batteries by a little old lady.
Dog bones in Cleveland.
Yeah, like, do we have like a dominant home field crowd energy with any of the teams?
I feel like with hockey, people are just more crazy in general. So I think fans are just more blaming the fans in the stadium. Like, you're supposed to lose your mind. It's a hockey game type thing. But no, I don't think we have a reputation anymore. Maybe in basketball, just because of the altitude alone, not because of the fans or the crowd or anything like that. But I grew up going to games in the South Stands, Dan, and I don't think we have that same reputation with the Broncos either. So I think it's more of a hockey thing in general, I guess.
Well, by the way, if you think it's bad at what in Power Field or whatever right now, wait till we get the new stadium, and the common man is priced out. Because he's got to come up with, I don't know, $15,000 to $60,000, $60,000 for his tickets, just for the the honor of purchasing the tickets. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's going to be corporations. It's going to be rich people, right? The James Merlats, the Hayden Fishers.
Yeah, lawyers.
Lawyers. Yeah. Ramos Law, the official lawyer of the new stadium. Well, he is the Broncos. Did you know what's funny is, I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying this. I met with Joe Ramos a little while back, and we're just meeting up. They like the show and all that stuff. They like our marketing, and I'm like, but why on earth would you guys pay all that money to be the official lawyer of the Broncos? And he's like, I won't say what he said, but yeah, it's so. They'll be the official lawyer of that new stadium, and all their buddies will be there, because if they can, they will price out their fans. Now, if you like Stan Kroenke, what's the problem with that? What's the problem? The Walton Penner Group, they paid the money. They paid $4 or $5 billion. They're going to pay another $3 or $4 billion to build a stadium. What does it matter do they have any responsibility to the everyday fan that's got them to this point or not? Joe, what do you say? Like, your buddies, is it Jimbo? Was he the one with the season tickets?
Yeah, a few buddies. Jimbo, Pete is the one that owns the life-size replica of Bucky the Horse, which is my favorite part of our tailgate. It's kind of a big deal. We're all not totally sure how we're going to be able to afford whatever these PSL prices are. I mean, I don't think they've officially said they're going to have them, but I still feel like it's a foregone conclusion. But right now, we're more worried about they're closing down our parking lot, Dan. We've been in the same parking lot for 25 years, and they are closing it down. We're going to have to go somewhere else.
For what? Are they going to build something?
I guess it's we're in Lot M, 14th and Federal, by the new light rail station they put in a few years ago. There was a big parking garage there now. Now I guess we don't have passes for that lot. We're going to have to move. We may have to find a new vehicle for Eduardo, the name of the horse. So if anyone has an ambulance for sale, or like just a big, like a short bus that we could customize and fit a giant horse into, we might need some help, folks.
Yeah. Speaking of ambulances, one of the cool stories of all time is, you've seen them, Stadium. I think it's called Stadium Medical, right? It's the guy so he was working for, there's a big ambulance company. I can't remember the name of it. But they used to have all the contracts for all the sporting events. And they had like 3 or 4 ambulances, and then like people would like work those. Like, that was a cool shift, right? Because like if you're a paramedic, that'd be a pretty darn cool shift to have, right? And I think people would go work that for overtime or whatever. Well, whatever this ambulance company was, they said, it's just not really, it doesn't make sense for us. We're not making money off it, whatever. We're just going to give up those contracts. And this guy, I think his name is Rich. He was the guy that worked the most of those. And he said, well, no, man, like, don't do that. Don't give it up. They said, yeah, but we'll tell you what, we'll sell you a couple of these ambulances. And so he started his own little ambulance company, and pretty awesome. Like, it's a little man, not little man, but, like a common man done good. And so now every time I kind of love seeing, good stories like that. He's got, 5, 10 ambulances now, and they're, I like the arena or Stadium Medical, and in fact, who was it? Derek Wolf. Remember he had that serious thing? I saw he was down there. Like, He gets a passion. He gets to help people, and give good care, and he gets to do what he loves, and that's kind of what it's all about. So I always thought that was a cool story, with the ambulances.
Yeah, that's really cool. Do you think they have an extra one that we could pick up?
I bet you they do. They got to replace those every so often. Now, what do you need an ambulance for? Why does he?
For the horse. So we have a life-size replica of Bucky the horse,
right.
the big white horse on top of the stadium. We take that to our tailgate every week, and we're starting to need a new vehicle to transport Eduardo.
Why wouldn't you just get like a box truck or a U-Haul?
I'm not sure if it'll fit. My buddy Pete is the one that owns the horse. He specified ambulance. Maybe just because it'll be cool, but either way, that's the
you could really retrofit like Resto Mod an ambulance, like with all those pockets on there, like have like a kegerator in one and like a pretzel bar in another, and things like that. Like I could deck like they do that, right? They get old ambulances and they prop them up for tailgates or whatever, things like that. Or go to Comic-Cons.
Yeah, we paint a Bronco on it. It'd be dope.
Yeah, no, I mean that would definitely be awesome. But yeah, I think if you think it's bad now, then just wait about what's it going to be 8 years, and then we'll see. Yeah. So how many tickets does Jimbo have?
Our group, we have 4 season tickets. So it's Jim, my buddy Pete, and our friend Eric is taking up another one. My dad used to have one of those, so it's like our tailgate families like passed down season tickets over the years. It's a pretty fun time, dude.
Okay, and is that like middle level, top level? Where are the seats?
Oh, we're in section 508, so
Okay.
we're right at the 50-yard line, but we're way at the top.
Okay, so let's say it's $20,000 to get the PSLs for those 4 seats. That's probably pretty close to what it would be. Like you said, there's no knowing for certain what they're going to charge, but let's say it's $20,000. Do you guys think you would keep those tickets?
That's going to be, it depends on the payment plan and how that works.
It's got to be paid up.
$20,000? That's going to be, that might be around the line where we'd have to start considering no.
It's my understanding that the way this usually works and would probably work in this situation is you would not have, because I thought, well, it's not going to be that big a deal because you could just finance that out, right? As long as you could pay it off over 20 years. No, they're like, no, we don't trust you to pay, so you got to be paid up for your season tickets. So let's say your season tickets are in the 500 level. Let's say they're an additional $10,000 for those 4 seats. You would have to have $30,000 paid in full by June of that year. Would you guys be able to keep likely keep your seats?
Well, see you later.
Yeah, because that's what we're looking at. And so you thought it's bad now because it was bad. Like the Broncos clearly sold out to corporate dollars when they opened the last stadium. You think it's going to get better with the PSLs and all that stuff? No way. No way. Like it's going to be total wine and cheese crowd. All right. Hey, we like to do this, especially our visits now are shorter with James Marilat. Yeah. Speaking of the wine and cheese crowd, rich, private Marilat luxury suites and things like that. A couple hours ago, for those of you that missed it, we had a chance to check in with the man himself, James Marilat. All right, we do bring into the program our good friend, James Marilat, brought to you by the Birdie Bar in Louisville, the premier indoor golf bar in downtown Louisville, locally owned and operated. Find them at birdie.bar on the web and Instagram. James Marilat, are you with us?
I'm here, Dan. How are you?
All right. Sledgehammer, I guess, is your walk-up song today. I'm just going straight to it, James. What do you make of it last night? I know you're not happy. I'm not happy.
No, not happy at all. I tried to tell you a week ago. I said, hey, they didn't play well in game 1. They didn't play well in game 3. They didn't play well in game 5. And they got away with it, and you poo-pooed it just like everybody else.
Did you pick the Golden Knights to win this series, James? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you remember a week ago I said, look, the Avs are either going to win this thing in 5 or they're going to lose the series. Like if they let Vegas hang around and they mess around and they, don't come out ready to play like they did in games against the Wild, it's eventually going to come back to bite them. And here we are. They weren't ready to go in game 1. They weren't really ready to go in game 2 either. Now, they had a 1-0 lead after the first period, but if they hadn't have, that would have been the 5th straight game where they didn't score a goal in the first period. So clearly they're not ready to go. Clearly the other team's coach has a plan that it takes them a while to decode. And Jared Bednar just, rolls out the pucks and the sticks and says, go get them, boys. And it's not working when you're going against a team that's well coached.
Do you give him at least credit for not reigniting as far as we know, reigniting the goalie controversy?
I mean, I guess, but seriously, Dan, it would be laughable if that was the move he made at this point. I mean, Wedgwood gave up 2 goals last night. They did nothing in front of him at all, essentially for the entire game. So if that was the move he played or move he made, the card he played, it would be so laughable. I think even he realizes that everybody would see right through it. So I guess I give him credit for not doing something foolish, but that clearly wouldn't be the right move.
All right, James, I do my best to keep you accountable. More than any other host on the station, I try and keep you accountable. But I got to be honest here, man. You've been right about Jared Bednar. Like, how many times does he have to screw this juggernaut up before the Rockies wake up and go, we're wasting everybody's prime? It's not just Jokic's prime on the other side. Like, we're wasting Makar's prime and McKinnon's prime and, like, all these guys. Like, how many years does he have? Like, how many chances does he get? You were right.
I don't know. I don't know. And I said it last year and I said it the year before. And everybody, said, you got to give him one more year. It's like, well, at what point do you finally look at this and say, enough is enough, right? Like, I think it's even more egregious than the Nuggets. Like, the Nuggets, other teams have passed them by. OKC with a bunch of great trades, San Antonio with the ping pong ball bouncing their direction and they get a generational player. Like, I'm not giving excuses on that front, but there were factors outside.
No. James, you want to know why that's bunk? Because they didn't lose to those teams. They lost to a C team that didn't have their best players. So that excuse doesn't fly.
No, and you're right. But there's no excuse for the Avs. They've had the best team for essentially a decade, Dan. And this is only the second time they've been to the Western Conference Finals. They've only been to the Stanley Cup final once. Now, yes, they won a cup, and that was awesome, and we all enjoyed the parade. And I get that it's hard to win a championship and all the excuses you hear, but if they lose to a team that had 95 points in the regular season, the Golden Knights would have finished 4th in the Central Division. They would have finished 5th in a division out east in the Metropolitan. Like, it's just laughable. And here they are in this type of situation, and it's why the playoffs are different. Like, Jared Bednar's fine in the regular season because he's got the most talented team, and it's one game at a time, right? You don't play 7 games against the same team where adjustments matter and game plans matter and strategies matter. And here we go again where he's going to lose to an inferior opponent. I mean, how many times have they lost to a team that was seated ahead of them? I guess Dallas last year because they had to play Game 7 on the road. But by and large, it's against teams that they should have the advantage. It's the Seattle Kraken of the world, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They just keep bringing him back and letting him squander McKinnon, Makar, and this core. So the excuse this time is going to be, well, he didn't have Cale Makar. He still has by far the most talented team. I mean, if that would explain it as, well, he can only win it if he has basically the best Olympic team going, and anything short of that, he can't win it. Like, that's laughable. It's an all-star team when Makar is out there, and it's still an all-star team even when he's not out there. So for this to be happening, for them to be down 0-2, I still think they have a chance to come back and win this series. Tomorrow night is obviously the key. But if they lose this series and they don't make changes, I don't know why anybody keeps buying tickets. I really don't.
All right, at Joe Pompliano on Twitter. Stan Kroenke is on a generational run right now. In the last 5 years, his teams have won the Super Bowl, LA Rams, NBA Finals, Denver Nuggets, Stanley Cup, Colorado Avalanche, and Premier League, Arsenal. He also owns SoFi Stadium, which has hosted the Super Bowl, the College Football National Championship, upcoming World Cup matches, and the 2028 opening-closing Olympic ceremonies. Not to mention, Kroenke also recently became the largest private landowner in the United States with 2.7 million acres. That's roughly the combined size of Chicago, Houston, Phoenix, Philadelphia, and San Antonio. James, I guess we owe Mr. Kroenke an apology. We're too rough on him. He's clearly a great owner.
He's clearly a great businessman.
Yeah.
And he does have good teams. He does.
Sometimes.
But all of those teams have also won one. The Avs have won one. The Nuggets have won one. The Rams won one. Arsenal finally won one. Like, people, across the pond were not fond of Kroenke prior to them finally winning one. And it's also like, okay, that's fine. And that's a group of them that have all happened here in the last 5 years. But it's also, the Avs are now in the second time they've been in the Western Conference Finals in 24 years. That's not exactly a run of success in my mind. Yeah, the Nuggets have been to the Western Conference Finals 3 times, once in the bubble, once when they won the championship, and once with Melo. Like 3 times in 24 years. That just, and I don't really care about the Rams, don't really care about Arsenal. Those aren't the teams I root for. So, sorry, but 5 trips to the conference finals in 48 years is not exactly just, man, what a juggernaut. We couldn't ask for anything better, couldn't ask for anything more. I think that's a laughable spin job on the part of whoever put that tweet out.
All right, so they kept Adelman. I think we know why they kept Adelman, right? If you listen to The Drive and Zach By, like, they're in a financial Armageddon, so why would you pay a coach when they're probably going to have to rebuild this thing? The Nuggets are done. It's over. They got themselves, and credit to the Kroenkes for paying that repeater tax or whatever for a long time. Now the Bills do. I don't even blame them for not doing that. I do blame them for not getting competent coaching in here to maximize their roster. But are we at the same point with the Avalanche, or do we at least have another 1 or 2 years of huge embarrassing failures before that team is done and we got another 15 years of, futility?
I think their core is still young enough that there's plenty of years left in their primes. I think they'll still be a cup contender. I think you got to go do something like Vegas did and bring in an experienced coach and a guy who's a proven winner and a guy who, doesn't put up with the nonsense of this team. And it's why I was upset after the Wild series, even though they won in 5 games, is they didn't show up in game 1. They didn't show up in game 3, which they lost. And they didn't show up in game 5, which was a closeout game. And they got bailed out because they put up 2 goals in the final 3.5 minutes and then won in overtime. That, to me, is on your coach. You're not ready to go. You're not ready for the moment. You're not ready to play. And the easier thing to do than to totally rebuild a team is to change the coach. And everybody gets on me, all you want to do is fire coaches. No, I don't, but it's the logical thing to do. Like, if you bring in somebody else and you get the same result, okay, then it's the players. If you bring in somebody else and it's not the same result, then it was the coach. It's the scientific method, right, Dan? You change one thing at a time, and you change the simplest thing first. That would be the simple move. So, I would think if they don't get it done this year, it's got to be a foregone conclusion that they make a change. But, people don't like when I say this, and I tweeted it last night. The Kroenkes continue to bring in JV coaches. Michael Malone, they brought him in after he got fired by the Kings. Nobody was looking for him, looking to hire him. He was one of the lowest paid coaches in the league. After they fired him, he got a grand total of 0 NBA job interviews. Ended up taking a job at North Carolina. Didn't interview for a single job. Everybody said he was going to get the Knicks job. They didn't even talk to him. And Jared Bednar comes in after Patrick Waugh just decides to leave a month before the season. And he's the head coach of the Lake Erie Monsters at that point. And nobody was interested in him, and nobody was bringing him in. So, if you continue to have the lowest paid coaches in the league, if you continue to let assistant coaches leave, like Micah Nori and Jordy Fernandez, because they can get more money as an assistant coach elsewhere, if you continually let front office people leave, Masai Ujiri, Tim Connolly, because you don't want to pay them, it's a sign that you're not willing to invest in the product. And that's a place, and Zach By says this all the time, and he's right, you can win on the margins. There's no salary cap for front office. There's no salary cap for coaches. That's just a commitment to winning and how important is it to you. And that's where the Nuggets and the Avs cut corners, and it continues to show up in the playoffs when coaching truly matters. Because, again, in a 7-game series, it's about adjustments, and they're woeful in making them.
All right, James. By the way, nice job choking on the trivia question. Steamboat? Steamboat, the largest city north of...
Well, Dan,
come on, man.
In my defense, Greeley and Loveland are at exactly the same latitude. So I eliminated those two because it's like, well, they're tied. They're both equally north. So it can't be one of those. So then I started thinking outside the box, wound up in Steamboat. I know.
You've been there. You know how small that town is, man. Shame on you.
I'm sitting there now.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. All right, stop by the condo. Make sure everything's in good shape. James
I'm a little
Merrilat.
disappointed you're not here meeting me at Winona's, but we'll do it another time.
Yes, absolutely. James Merrilat from DenverSports.com. We will talk to you on Monday.
All right, sounds good, Dan.
It's the ultimate showdown for a great cause.
Setting up the ultimate gold medal showdown.
On June 11th, Brandon Stokely goes head-to-head with Zach Bai in 100 Holes for Kids. 100 holes of golf. It's a one-day event all to raise money for Recruiting Classroom, whose mission it is to help kids play sports. Who will raise the most? That's where you come in. Pick your player, make your donation, and help kids win. To support Brandon Stokely, head to StokelyCares.com. To support Zach Bai, head to ZachCares.com.
The playoffs bring out the teams that perform when the pressure is highest and every possession matters. When you're bidding an electrical project, you don't want a streaky shooter. You want a team with a 40-year winning record. That's Piper Electric. From commercial construction to EV charging, fire alarms, power distribution, and preventative maintenance, their electricians are safety-driven, highly skilled, and ready for complex environments. So when your project goes out for bids, take the high percentage shot. Visit piperelectric.com.
This evening, you're different. Over the day, you meet people, you make decisions, you faced challenges and made a mistake or two. Bit by bit, everything changed you. And you're better for it. This is Garrett Jamron. I'm part of the Alpine Bank family, member FDIC. Take a look at the enormous changes in our children. So many are graduating, not just from high school, but from pre, elementary, and junior high schools. Others from college. Still more from one job to another. Graduations are daily treasures because they change you, make you better. Each takes you into the next stage of your life. Why would Alpine Bank share this with you? Easy. We could talk about checking accounts, or we could talk about you. It wasn't a difficult choice.
The NBA playoffs are underway, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. You can also trade on who wins each series, the conference finals, and the championship. San Antonio is currently trading at 19% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade pays out over $500 if they take the title. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code SHOT to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
This is Terry Wickstrom. Are you looking to buy a home that fits your senior needs? Consider a home equity conversion mortgage for purchase. With this innovative financing option, you can use the equity in your current home or savings as the down payment. With the FHA-insured Heckham Reverse Mortgage Loan, you may be able to buy a higher value home and keep substantial cash for savings with no required payments. For more information, call Mike Rabin at 303-396-2804 or go to madrivermortgage.com and MLS 1504779.
You're listening to the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
By the way, I'm keeping an eye on this. I want to give a shout out to our listeners up in Fort Collins, KARS. But I want to see you guys on the text line. I want you guys to become a part of the Dan Jacobs Show family. If you're listening up in Fort Collins or Laramie, you know, I wouldn't say I'm not from Fort Collins, but I have a little bit of history there. I was a public defender there, and it's a beautiful town. Went to work there every day for a while. Like, I would love for you guys to be involved, on our show. But I can see where your phone number, where you're calling from. We're not getting a lot of 970s, so step it up, guys. Step it up. Also love you guys in Wyoming. I'm a big Jerry Spence disciple. Favored son of Wyoming, Jerry Spence. So get at it. On the Shomp Honda live chat on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel, Dino-11 says, he's, by the way, currently our number 3 ranking fan of the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on YouTube. I don't know. I hung up all my Avs jerseys and hoodies and hats and such for the year. I even washed my jersey today, something I barely do. It simply is what it is. See you all next year. Maybe. Dino. Come on, man. Like, that's a little, Joe, that's on you. That's being a bad fan. Like,
yeah,
we were all
on,
upset
Dean
last
of Little
night.
Faith.
We were all upset last night about the Avalanche and this and that, but you can't be like packing it in early. I got to call you out on that. Judge, what do you think of giving David Carl a shot? No. Like, I want a proven, and I did. I looked it up. The reason I hesitate to bring these names up is because I'll get embarrassed because I just went into AI before the show, right, and said who would be some good candidates, because what we're not looking for a maybe, like, oh, maybe David Carl would be great, right? And I have no idea. He's never coached this level. What we're wanting for example, is what I thought last year before he got another gig was Joel Quenneville. He's exactly the type of coach that can come in here with a talented roster and get you to the next level. So I'm wanting an experienced guy that knows how to get the most out of the talent, right? Kind of like the Golden Knights did this year, right? And so there are guys out there, but my problem is every time you ask AI a question about sports, there's like 50% chance they're going to give you some bad, outdated information. And so you're like, I don't want to bring up these until I have time to vet the candidates more. But suffice to say, there were several out there. Good, experienced, tough-minded hockey guys that have hopefully whatever Jared Bednar's missing. So we don't, because what's the answer? Like, it's weird. I can't, other than effort, right, which is the same thing we said about the Nuggets, I can't pinpoint what is missing with the Avalanche, right? Like, they're still playing kind of at a high level, but they're just not playing up to their level. They're not dominant, right? Like, it's just that little extra oomph, right? Like Will was saying, Kadri makes a sick pass, it gets to McKinnon, and he just completely misses the net. Like, he's the best player in the world. Why can't he put it on the net? Not to say it's going to go in, but it's things like that, but they're just missing whatever it is. And so Bednar, barring a miracle, it's just not going to happen. Going into, and so they need to make a change. It's a shame because they're just so good. Like I was talking about earlier, this argument that, well, it's hard to win championships. It is. It's really hard to win championships. But you know what also is true? Not to go all Zach by on you. That great teams win championships. And great players win championships. And the Nuggets have had one of the greatest players of all time for the last decade, and they've only gotten one. That's unusual. That is not the norm. It's not, it's hard to win championships, so great players don't win very many championships. That's not the case. Statistically, it's not the case. Statistically, the greatest players in NBA history have 3 or more championships. Nikola likely is going to end up with 1. Same thing in hockey. The greatest players in hockey history have multiple championships. Right now, it's looking like Nate McKinnon and Cale Makar. Cale's a lot younger, but those guys may only end up with 1. That is supremely disappointing. I don't just say, it's hard to win championships. Yeah, of course it's hard to win championships. But that's why when you have a window to do it, you got to maximize it, and they simply haven't done that. Avs and Nuggets have not done that. So that's the part that's disappointing. By the way, on the Little Boy and was it Little Hammer and Country Boy?
Yeah, we have a definitive answer on that. Dan.
For both. I heard. Okay, go ahead. Tell us, Joe. I heard about the Little Hammer thing with Cecil, which makes sense. But go ahead, tell us.
Yeah. Okay. So apparently Cecil got the nickname Little or Baby Hammer or Little Hammer or something because he brought a baby hammer to his very first construction job. I'm assuming as a joke. Maybe it's just the only hammer that he had. And so I guess Country Boy refers to Josh working with KYGO because he does do a show on KYGO. So I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I was giving Dover a hard time. Like, dude,
Good.
You're trying to take our listeners? Not going to happen, dude. Our Dan Jacobs Show listeners are loyal. You can't prance in from the mean streets of North Glen and try and, sashay your pretty boy charm and take away Dan Jacobs Show listeners. Not going to happen. Yeah, not going to happen. They're more loyal than that. Let's see here.
Yeah, Dan Jacobs Show listeners, they're made of a heartier stuff, Dan.
Yeah, they're heartier. They're generally smarter, better looking, more talented than any other listeners on the station. That's all I'm saying. I see them every day. They come into the 303 Law 4040 offices. Now, I did give a guy, Aaron, I want to give him a shout out. So we did the best free meal in Denver 2 days ago. And they said, Dan, have you met Aaron? He came and brought his family to volunteer because he heard you talking about it on the radio all the time. And he was, nice to meet me, nice guy. He was doing a great job, passing out, free groceries and all that. And then we were talking about, the lawyer thing. And I'm like, all right, what's that number? He didn't remember the number. It's like the easiest number to remember of all time. 303 Law 4040. He's like, that's right. I said, you got to save the number in your phone, man. Come on,
That's
Aaron.
why you got to save it in your phone, Dan.
Yeah.
You might not always remember it.
Yeah. Now, a lot of times people go, I don't have to save it in my phone. I do remember it. You only mention it 6 times in 60 seconds when you do the commercials.
303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
Save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. There. This is Gene from Littleton. I think Cale Makar doesn't want to jeopardize his contract. If he plays and hurts his shoulder more, then it could somehow change much of his contract and would be worth what his contract would be worth if he has to have surgery. But I think he doesn't play. They are done. If he doesn't play, they are done. Makar could come up being a villain after his coach said it's time to play. I don't play. That's just rank speculation. I think Cale Makar's a great player and he wants to play and he just can't play right now. So this is funny. I'll only say this. I can't do this because it's smack talking another lawyer in town. But it's funny. He's talking smack about this lawyer and he says, you know who I'm talking about. The guy that robbed us all from Amy Sporer. Now, as I mentioned, the Dan Jacobs Show listeners are a little bit more mature. But, yeah, for those of you that don't know, Amy Sporer was like a hot shot back when, basically the Ron Burgundy days when, news anchors were a big deal. She was young and elegant and beautiful and talented. And this pretty boy lawyer who I used to intern for came by and said, honey, all your hopes and dreams have been solved. You don't have to degrade yourself by putting that beautiful face in front of a TV camera anymore. I'm going to marry you, and you're set. Your ticket's punched. And so we never got to see Amy Sporer again, essentially. That's who he's talking about. You have any idea who we're talking about, Joe?
Yeah, totally, Dan. Absolutely.
You have no idea. Yeah.
Nope, no clue.
You have no idea. No, she was. But this guy was a trip. I used to be his intern over at the other station, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm like a panther, man. I'm super strong." He's a handsome guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's like, "Yeah, I got like panther strength." And it's
60% of the time, it works every time.
We're like, "Are you serious, dude?"
It's made with bits of real panther.
Yeah. Oh man. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, there was that text again. Came back up. Let's see here. I can't listen to James's take on coaches after he hated on Milan. I think he means Malone. It was just a speech-to-text thing. After he hated on Malone, we fired him and are now stuck with David Edelman. Well, the only reason we're stuck with David Edelman is because the Cronkies are sticking with David Edelman. Now, the problem is I see why they do it, and I guess I can see. If you've been listening to The Drive at all, and I give credit to Zach Bye. Hopefully he's wrong, and Zach Bye will be the first to admit if he is, because the mystery around the NBA salary cap is ridiculous, right?
This is not a drill.
But as we understand it, through Zach Bye's understanding, is the Nuggets are going to have a fire sale. They're going to have to find a way to slash, I think, 2 or 3 major contracts if they can. So that would mean trading Jamal, which are like, yay, trade Jamal, great, addition by subtraction. But it would also mean trying to get expiring contracts, basically no talent in return, right? So it's not like, hey, we traded Michael Porter Jr., but we got a good player back in Cam Johnson. So we thought. No, it's going to be like, we get Austin Rivers back or something like that, and some old expiring contract, something like that. It's not going to be like
Rivers does broadcasting now.
Yeah, I saw that. He got a beef. He was beefing, who was it, Draymond?
Oh, yeah, him and Draymond got into beef.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like, all right, LeBron wants one more bag, so we can trade his contract to the Lakers and we can get LeBron. I don't think it's going to be like that, because if what Zach is saying is correct, like even without signing Payton Watson, they need to slash contracts or they're going to be $207 million into the taxes.
Yeah, in order to pay Payton Watson, they're going to have to shed some contracts, or they just won't have enough money to pay Payton Watson without going into the second apron, which I don't think
that's what they're saying. No, I think they're saying even before they pay Payton Watson, because there's a repeater tax. And every year that you are over the tax, that then you get dinged even more and more and more. And they're already have been paying the tax. And this year it'll be, even if I'm understanding correctly, even before they pay Payton Watson, they'll be so deep into the second apron and the repeater tax that they would have to pay an additional $207 million, which I got to be honest, as hard as I am on the Cronkies, I don't blame them. Would you pay an extra $207 million to bring back this squad that laid down for you in the first round this year? Joe, would you do that?
I might pay $207 million if I was extremely confident it would get me a championship. So not necessarily this same group, because I also don't know how much a team makes during a championship run. Like, will you make that money back? Like Peyton Manning taking a pay cut with incentives in 2015, and then he made it all back because we won the Super Bowl. So I'd be curious to know how much money you actually make to win a championship. And so how much of that $200 million cuts into your profits from winning a championship. But in a sense, yes.
Okay. All right. Final segment of the Dan Jacobs Show for today. Coming up next.
The Avalanche are in trouble. Colorado drops both games at home and now trails Vegas 2-0 in the Western Conference Finals. The urgency is real, and the Avs need their biggest stars to respond. Nathan McKinnon, Martin Necas, and Brock Nelson have to lead the way as the series heads to Vegas. What's gone wrong for Colorado, and can they flip the momentum before it's too late?
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Denver's playoff headquarters.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Denver at 720-637-9567, 720-637-9567. That's 720-637-9567. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationdenver.com.
2026 is shaping up to be an amazing year to buy a home in Colorado. If you've been dreaming about getting into your first place, upgrading for more space, or downsizing for a simpler lifestyle, now is a smart time to start planning. And the first step is easy. Get pre-approved. With American Financing, you can get it done in 24 hours or less, so you'll know exactly what you can afford before you start shopping. Rates have been dropping, home prices are steady, and more homes are hitting the market. You could score the right home at the right price and lock in a monthly payment that fits your budget without stretching yourself thin. And unlike renting, every payment you make goes toward your future, not your landlord's. And here's a misconception we love to bust. You do not need 20% down. Many buyers purchase with as little as 3% down. So if homeownership is on your 2026 goals list, let's make it happen. Call American Financing, Colorado's home for home loans at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Don't miss the Tree Farms Memorial Day sale. Get up to 30% off all sizes of evergreen trees, including pine, spruce, upright juniper, and more. Or get up to 30% off all sizes of shade and flowering trees, including linden, maple, flowering pear, honey locust, and more. And get 20% off all ornamental grasses and thousands of hardy perennials to choose from. Come see.
I-25 to exit 235, then 5 miles west to the Tree Farm.
Hey guys, it's Mark Schlereth. I just made one of the best decisions of my life. I got rid of my glasses. I went to Cutarelli Vision and had refractive lens exchange, RLE. I wore glasses for distance vision, but I got to that inevitable point in life where I was always needing those reading glasses just to do about anything, and half the time I couldn't find them. Seeing menus, texting, reading my computer, or studying film, it was a struggle. But now I see the world perfectly, near and far, without any glasses, thanks to Cutarelli Vision RLE, the perfect permanent solution to spending your good active years not needing reading glasses. And here's the cherry on top. You'll never develop a cataract. Dr. Cutarelli is Colorado's most experienced with over 90,000 vision correction procedures. You can trust him to know if it's the right time for you and RLE. Schedule your free Zoom consultation at coloradorle.com. Cutarelli Vision, RLE, no readers, glasses, or contacts, or cataracts. coloradorle.com.
Done right kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Our 8% scheduling incentive and bank financing to ask about make a great time to call 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
Tune in Tuesday afternoons for Injury Insights with Zach Bai and Dr. Joseph Ramos to hear the latest injury news on your local teams and around the world of sports. Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better. It's the Honorable Judge Dan Jacobs on Denver Sports, 104.3 The Fan.
All right, final segment for today, but don't you worry. Not only will we be on for the easy, like Sunday morning edition of the Dan Jacobs Show tomorrow morning, right after Kyle and Cello, we'll be starting our program at 10 a.m. You can start listening all the way at 7 a.m. on the show. But also Memorial Day. All these big prima donnas like Cecil and Dover and all those guys, well-deserved time off. I'm happy to do it, of course. You know, get more airtime for me. Let's be honest, probably better for the station, right? So I'll do what I'll be a good teammate. I'm not going to sit out like Cale Makar, right? I'm going to come in and play. So I'll be on Monday as well. I think 10 to 2. Probably. Joe, you working with me that day?
I have no idea, Dan. According to the schedule, I'm only doing Saturdays, but maybe I'll have to ask Drew.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good.
Because I might be doing clipping that day also. We'll see.
All right. Well, now, so I almost feel like, remember in the old days when people watch the news, and there's actually one or two of these guys still out there, because I saw one of their stories recently because they helped get my wife's speeding ticket wiped out. It was a big deal. Hudson, town of Hudson, shame on you, town of Hudson, put up this big money grab speed trap, and you're supposed to put it up and issue warnings for a little while so people can get used to it. And then if they still continue to not abide by this new civil penalty, then you can send them a ticket. Well, they just said nobody's going to know the difference. They just sent out millions of dollars worth of tickets when they weren't supposed to. And so this, I think it's Channel 9 News reporter, went to the meeting and everybody was embarrassed and like, we got 9 News here because you guys are crooked. And so now they've canceled those tickets, right? So you know what I'm talking about, these investigative reporters that you send them a tip and they go and they embarrass somebody in a parking lot, go, Joe Goodwin, why did you rob your customers? Blah, 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 blah. And
they deserved it, Dan.
Yeah. So there's a couple of them out there, but I think we can play that role right now because this is going off of what you said, Joe. So Lot M, you've tailgated there for how many years?
About 20, 25 years, something like that.
And now the Walton Penner Group has sent you notice you are no longer welcome in Lot M. Is that correct?
Exactly. We even got a text from somebody else, a fellow tailgater from Lot M, who has seen the horse and loves it, who is also being kicked out. So I don't know what we're going to do, Dan, but I think I made a new friend.
And so he's like, trying to figure it out. And he says, absolutely. We tried. This is the texter who also tailgates, loyal fan for the Broncos. You'd think they'd want to take care of him. You think they'd want to be nice to him, especially when you're going to try and stick it to him for outrageous PSLs within the next decade. You know, you would think, right? But according to this texter, we tried calling the Broncos yesterday. Their voicemail is full. I thought they were going to let us know our options. So you're a season ticket holder. You're loyal. You pay probably tens of thousands of dollars to the Broncos every year to go cheer on their product. And you pay for you paid for the M-Lot pass, correct? Like it wasn't free. It wasn't out of the goodness of their heart. Yeah. So as a paying, loyal, fanatical customer, he called the Broncos and nothing. Voicemail's full.
To me, the funniest part is just picturing whoever's job it is to listen to all of those voicemails and hear Broncos fans yelling and screaming at them for any number of things. But still, like, you got to have available voicemails for fans to voice their concerns, especially when you're, getting rid of tailgating lots.
Yes. Now here this is, and I've told this story, from time to time over the years, but I'll tell it again. This is how I fell in love with sports radio. I was a young man growing up, and I wanted to go to Michael Adams. He had I wanted to go to Bill Hanslick's camp. And so we called up the Denver Nuggets, and we said, hey, how do we get information to go to Bill Hanslick's camp? It was held on the beautiful campus over at Metro State. And they said, oh, we're sorry, we can't give you that information because we're sponsoring Michael Adams' camp. And my grandpa said, well, that's fine. Send us both. Maybe I'll send them to both. No, we can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? Why can't you do it? Well, it's just not our policy. Are you kidding me? And then, sorry, bye. Click, hang up. And so he says, Todd, my family calls me Todd. Don't ask why. We're going to fix this right now. These guys, I think Dan Issel was the guy in charge at the time. These guys listen to these shows. So he calls into Irvin Joe. I'm in 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade. And he says, you know what the Nuggets did? And Irvin Joe said, what? Shame on them. And he rips them a new one, right? And we go out to Wendy's. We have lunch. We do our running around. We come back 3 hours later. This was back when we had answering machines. Somehow they found our number. Like they must have looked it up. And they're like, Mr. Jacobs, we are so sorry about what happened earlier. Here's the information for both camps. And by the way, I did go to both camps that year. But back then,
So which camp was better?
I think the Hanslick camp. In fact, I think I stayed overnight at the Hanslick camp. That was cool. By the way, cool. I played one-on-one on Michael Adams' team. He totally blew an assignment and gave up a bucket, and then he started yelling at me. It was like playing with Kobe or like Michael. I'm like, dude, it's not my fault. You missed the assignment. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, great time. But so maybe we could do that here. Broncos brass, if you're listening, I know you do listen from time to time because time to time I get in trouble for things I say about you. So if you happen to be listening right now, why don't you, whoever's person's job it is, like, it's not like you're not going to make more money. Like, I'm sure you have some option somewhere, guys in a room thinking things up. Like, how can we screw over the guys in Lot M and make more money off of them? Right? So do what you got to do, and if you're listening, do that.
I mean, they already kicked us out of the South Stands, Dan. Like, they're just going to keep doing it. Now they're kicking us out of Lot M. What's next?
Yeah, I don't know. So there we go there. All right, so yeah, we'll be on tomorrow, and we can talk more about the Avalanche. Avalanche will be getting ready to basically play for their season. Just get to a couple of texts before we get out of here on the RamosLaw.com text line. Nuggets are cooked. You can't dump Murray or Brown. We paid them too much money to be average. Jokic deserves better. I'm not going to condone that blanket statement. Like, first off, Christian Brown's a bad contract, but he's not a max contract. And there are teams all the time. Like, there was a team out there, not just one, but two, that said, Bruce Brown? Let's pay him $22 million a year. He could be our star on our team. He's a role player on the Nuggets, but he can be a star over here. And they paid him $22 million a year, whatever they paid him, right? And now, 2 years later, he's back, right? So teams, NBA's funny, man. Like, they can look at Christian Brown, the leader of our team, and they could get him on the cheap, a non-max contract, and he can come in and change their fortunes because they don't have Nikola Jokic or whatever, right?
Yeah, Christian Brown will get your team ready to play every night, folks. Trade for him right now. Right.
And then also, hey, man, we never thought we could get rid of the Michael Porter Jr. contract, and we got rid of it. So I would love, I don't think it could happen, but yeah, like the Lakers, if they want to get rid of LeBron, why can't we do a sign and trade for LeBron?
Because he's going to make $50 million. So that amount of money for a guy, if LeBron is willing to take a pay cut, I will absolutely entertain that idea. But paying LeBron for $50 million again, because he takes a one-year contract for about $50 million for the past few years, I'm not down for that. But you know what? If he wants to take a pay cut,
what do we care if he gets a championship and he takes the bad contracts of, let's say he took both Jamal and Christian's contract with him, or Jamal and Aaron Gordon's
Jamal makes
contract.
50, so it'd be Jamal for Braun.
Well, no, but we trade them more. And we make a little money on our salary cap. We get under the cap a little bit, or closer to being under the cap. And then we just get LeBron, and then they take $70 million a year worth of our bad contracts.
And then they have Jamal Murray come off the bench behind Luka.
No, they play different positions. They would. Jamal would be great.
So they lose Austin Reeves?
He also would play, Jamal would be that playmaking, pass-first, electric point guard we always wished he would be. Not the one that gets tired out by having to dribble the ball up the court, right? I never even heard such a thing about a point guard. Well, they do good. They pressure him, and he gets too tired. All right, so that's our time here today. Great to see you, Joe. We'll see you every Saturday for the foreseeable future. Great job out of you. Great job out of people on the Champ Honda YouTube channel live. We appreciate you guys, and also out on the RamosLaw.com text line. We shall see you bright and early tomorrow morning for the Easy Like Sunday morning edition of the Dan Jacobs Show at 10 a.m. right here on The Fan.
I love you guys so much.
He's Judge Dan J. He doesn't mean no harm, but he doesn't mind telling you he's right, you are wrong. He's reading your text, taking your calls. It's the Dan Jacobs Show, and he'll decide what the law will allow. He's making your day the only way he knows how, by giving you the facts, cutting through the BS now. He's Judge Dan J. He doesn't mean no harm, but he doesn't mind telling you he's right and you are wrong.
Summer is calling, and we're sending you to the lake in style. Download the Denver Sports app to enter our Day at the Lake contest for your chance to win everything you need for that perfect lake day. You get 2 paddle boards, 2 chairs, a cooler, pop-up tent, and Bluetooth speaker. Oh, and did we mention you also get a $250 gift card to fill up that cooler? Download the Denver Sports app now and enter today. We'll see you at the lake. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
If you're struggling to hear conversations, TV, or the people you love, now there's an easier, more affordable solution without spending thousands. Audion Hearing makes high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98 with free shipping and dedicated one-on-one support in the comfort of your own home. No doctor's offices, no pressure. Clearer hearing delivered right to your door. Join over 1 million happy customers hearing life more clearly. Visit audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
I need a little range, step to the range, come on, meet me at the
Introducing the new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club Sandwich. With that juicy Chick-fil-A chicken on a buttermilk ranch bun, jalapeno ranch sauce, and pickled jalapenos, it's a little ranch with a lot of kick. The new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club with original spicy or grilled filet. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Earn an accredited MBA in as few as 16 months for about $21K at University of Maryland Global Campus. Explore 10 specializations, including finance, HR, cyber technology, and more. Plus, showcase the value of your MBA with a comprehensive learner record and digitally demonstrate in-demand skills and credentials to employers. No application fee if you apply by June 1st. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by SHAP.
What if I could tell you when an earthquake would hit? Unfortunately, I can't. But shouldn't you be ready anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Benkin. We start with the NBA in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight in Cleveland. New York is in its quest to reach the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. They have a 2-game-to-none lead going into this evening's contest as they battle Cleveland after winning the first 2 games in New York. The Knicks' Karl Anthony Towns talked about what his team needs to do to pick up another victory tonight.
We got to execute at a high level, have that desperation that we had in Philly and Atlanta. We just got to, obviously shoot the ball well.
You can hear Game 3 tonight on ESPN Radio with our coverage getting underway at 7:30 Eastern. The game can also be seen on ABC. In baseball, one final today. The Cardinals pound the Reds 8-1. On ESPN Radio, it is the Astros taking on the Cubs of Wrigley, leading 3-0. Chicago trying to stop a 6-game losing streak. The Blue Jays leading the Pirates 1-0 in the fourth. The Guardians are looking for their 8th win in a row. They're in a rain delay in Philadelphia. Rain has postponed 2 other games. Rays and Yankees and Tigers and Orioles both washed out today. Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. It is Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Hurricanes host the Canadiens. Montreal looked to go up 2-0 after taking Game 1 on Thursday. A statement from the Kyle Busch family says Busch died of severe pneumonia that progressed into sepsis. Busch died on Thursday at the age of 41. On ESPN2, it's the men's lacrosse semifinals in Charlotte. At the half, Notre Dame leads Syracuse 7-4. The winner will meet Princeton in the championship game. The Tigers beat Duke 14-7.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Monday, Dak and the Cowboys, as well as Joe Burrow and the Bengals, they've been the darlings of the offseason, but I'll tell you if I'm buying any of the hype. It's on Sportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Is the best of ESPN Radio.
On Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance, and now a list of things from Progressive Insurance: home, auto, boat, motorcycle, RV, ATV. Progressive protects them all. Learn more about bundling at Progressive.com. We're on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Going to get to the Matthew Stafford contract extension in a second. Also, we've been talking a ton about the Knicks' 2-Love series lead over the Cavs in about 15 minutes. Our buddy Vincent Goodwill will join us to talk about that as he's been covering this series. Montreal up 1-0 over Carolina in the Eastern Conference Finals in the NHL. 6-2 victory, 4 goals in the first period after Carolina hadn't lost a game yet this postseason. 8-0 and 11 days off going into last night. But huge news in the NFL yesterday. Matthew Stafford signing a 1-year, $55 million contract extension worth up to $60 million. He's now under contract for 2 more years at $105 million with the LA Rams. And he's under contract for 2 years, and year 3 would be Ty Simpson's first year, if we're really going to be real about this, that they will this will present a big problem, a good problem, if Stafford is so good for the next 2 years that he wants a 3rd year, and they took a first-round quarterback this year, and Ty Simpson out of Alabama. What's more interesting to you guys? How he plays now in these 2 years, or how he compares to his peers historically when it's all said and done?
Oh, peers historically.
Really? Why?
Because I think it's a very fascinating crop of peers that we will be debating. You mentioned earlier Aaron Rodgers. Well, I guess they're hand in hand, right? Because
no doubt,
if Matthew Stafford in these next 2 years is able to win another Super Bowl or earn another MVP award, that obviously bolsters this conversation, if I could speak. But he has put together an unbelievable resume, especially in the back half of his career, whereas someone like Aaron Rodgers, when he went to his 2nd and 3rd destination, it hasn't gone so well. Aaron Rodgers is a name you mentioned. Ben Roethlisberger is a name you mentioned. Who's the other guy that you think?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
All-time, like, iconic quarterbacks that played. One. Yeah, well, Ben won 2, but
but I'm saying Stafford, Rodgers, Brees.
Exactly, correct.
They've won 1, and if Stafford could separate himself from some of the other guys in that crop and win another Super Bowl, where is he going to be placed historically?
Eli, I probably should have thrown Eli in there, right?
Well, I put Eli. Eli's just such a rare case because of the 2 Super Bowls he won, the manner in which he won them, and the team that he won them against.
Versus his regular season numbers, which aren't as...
It's just a more difficult case study for me.
Fair.
But Matthew Stafford is coming off an MVP season, and he plays on a team that easily could have won a Super Bowl last year. They were definitely in the mix. They were very close, and they've gotten better. And I know they play in an incredibly tough division, but this Rams team is a team we could absolutely envision winning a Super Bowl. And yes, they, with that first pick, that number 13 overall, invested in the future and not the present, which was smart for them organizationally.
Was it? Was it, Smalls?
You can make the debate either way. But I think if you're trying to extend your runway of success, smart pick. But with this money, they're telling Matthew Stafford, hey, we value you. We see what you've put together. We appreciate it. And we want you for the next couple years to be right here because we think you are putting us in a position to win a Super Bowl.
So is it about being good or is it about winning championships?
It's about winning championships.
Okay, so why are we hedging with the 2 timelines approach rather than going all in on the twilight of Matthew Stafford's career? That makes no sense to me.
Because I think the moves that they made to shore up that secondary allowed them, in their minds, the luxury of investing in the future with Ty Simpson.
You know what doesn't give them that luxury? Rob Havenstein, your right tackle forever, retiring in February. How about investing in our offensive line to protect our 38-year-old MVP quarterback? I just don't understand why they're not doing everything that they can to maximize this window while they're so close.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. And Ab, you brought up the point about them trading out of the first round in 2025. That was when you had a 36-year-old quarterback and you weren't coming off a year where you were in the Final Four. And you were coming off a year where you didn't see your division rival win a championship. Now, fast forward 2 years later, Matt Stafford, 38 years old, right tackle gone, closer to the end than the beginning, a lot less runway. Why would you not push all of your chips to the middle of the table to do everything you can to try to win this year? Why wouldn't you take that approach rather than hedging for the future with Ty Simpson?
So, are you okay? If you make up your mind and you decide we're going to draft Ty Simpson, right, which they did, are you saying it's a mistake to do the extension because you've already started the future planning, capital sell high, so to speak, Daryl Morey style, on
Well, I
Stafford?
still need Stafford to be happy this year because Ty Simpson is not going to be our week one starter.
No, we're trying to win now, so he's got to be happy.
Exactly. And in order to make him happy, what has he shown? We're going to throw money at him. They had this same dance they did last year where he was unhappy. What happened? They threw money at him. All of a sudden, he has an MVP season. One of the oldest first-time MVPs we've ever seen in this league. So, they've got the blueprint. We make Matt Stafford happy by throwing him a bag of cash. And might I add, there are not too many things that a bag of cash can't fix. So I'm not disparaging the strategy. No. I'm just simply pointing out that it feels like this is to appease or to assuage any feelings that Matthew Stafford may have toward the organization for not using those first-round picks on players that can directly help him.
Let me ask you a question, then. I'm going to ask you to go back in time and give me your hypothetical, what you think your opinion would have been if I presented this then. We're sitting at the Tundra Trio last year. We're doing the show before the 2025 draft. We're eating a lot of cheese curds. We forgot to tell CC where they were. Not the point. Not the point.
They were delicious.
He didn't have any. Not the point here, okay? I say to you, hey, I got word. Shefty just called me. The Rams are going to give up the 26th pick tonight. And they're going to give up the 30th pick next year. And they're going to get Trent McDuffie, and they're going to get a quarterback of the future. What do you think? And by the way, he knows that Stafford's going to win the MVP this year. You like the move? What do you think you would have said? Because that is what happened.
If I know Matthew Stafford's going to win the MVP, I hate the move.
Why?
Because Matt Stafford is in the twilight of his career. Every year with Matt Stafford and Sean McVay, I'm trying to win. This is the same organization that won a championship by saying bleep those picks.
That's true.
So now all of a sudden I'm going to value first-round picks and value players that don't touch the field for me, that can't help me win this year? It's antithetical to everything that we've known the Rams to be when they've had success with this head coach, quarterback, general manager trio.
See, I fair, well-reasoned, well-thought-out with experience. I look at it a little differently. Without any experience, obviously, in this, like you have. I look at it differently. They locked up their quarterback where there is no QB controversy, that he doesn't have to worry about the fact that Ty Simpson is going to start. That's not going to happen, right? Stafford seemingly is going to be happy, excited about this year. You addressed an enormous need with an all-pro caliber player in Trent McDuffie, the cornerback from the Chiefs that you got by way of the draft. By trading out of last year, you gave yourself the opportunity to take a swing on Simpson for the future, and you potentially have a now run and a later run if you believe Simpson could be the guy. And now you're basically paying Stafford to do 2 to 3 things. Number one, lead us to a championship. First and foremost, okay? Number 2, try to win the MVP again. And number 3, take this guy under your wing. Because now it's not, is he coming for my job? Now it's, I'm going to give him my job in 2 years when I'm happily retired after 19 seasons in the NFL, 7 of them with the LA Rams, 12 of them in Detroit. And really, I think, and maybe Lions fans like Jovante can correct me if I'm wrong here, has the unique status of 2 football homes where he will be embraced. Undoubtedly will be embraced in LA, and I assume when he's retired, he should be embraced in Detroit. Like, remember with Rodgers, to do the compare and contrast, we've talked about he doesn't have a football home. Ironically, now it's Green Bay again because of the relationship with McCarthy.
In Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh, because everybody's like, oh, okay, they're cool, we're cool, like, forget all the beef, whatever.
I mean, again, Jovante can speak to this better than we can, but I from my perspective, Lions fans always loved and appreciated Matt Stafford. They blamed the organization for not putting more around him. And
multiple football homes.
I mean, anytime he's gone back to Detroit, they embrace him with open arms. So multiple football homes. It's very rare, but his career is rare.
I think Smalls is breadcrumbing a take.
What is it?
No, I don't think it's bad. I think you're breadcrumbing a take of getting ready to, if he wins another Super Bowl, even though you're not a Rams person, to say, I think I'd rather his career than fill in the blank, then Rodgers, then Breeze, then Roethlisberger,
Well,
whatever.
here's the difference. I'm always going to pick more Super Bowls.
Hell yeah.
I don't care that Aaron Rodgers has 4 MVPs.
Nope.
If you're telling me Matt Stafford's going to win 2 Super Bowls, I'm going to blindly say I'd rather. It's not even about football home. It's not about legacy. It's not about being celebrated. I want as many championships as I can possibly get.
So if the Rams win a Super Bowl over the next 2 years, you will say, I'd rather Stafford's career than Rodgers' career.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would say that too. But here's the problem with the decision that Les Snead made. If the Rams don't win a Super Bowl over the lifetime of Matt Stafford's career with them, we're always going to point back to this past year's draft and wonder, could it have been different if they had done something different with that 13th overall pick?
Watch Mekhi Lemon be awesome in Philly, and we're like, hey, could have used that weapon, right? Things like that.
But what if
Smalls, how
Simpson
about
wins?
this? There were 6 offensive linemen drafted in the first round after the 13th overall pick.
I just use that as an example, but there's so many players that we could point to and be like, they could have used him. They could have used this
him.
guy. Yeah.
I'm just saying, especially in a division where 3 teams won a dozen games last year, and your division rival just won the chip.
Nuno has a question on this. Go ahead, Nuno.
I wonder because they were the rumored second team around the AJ Brown potential. I wonder if they thought that they had a really good chance of getting him, and that's why they then ended up pivoting to Ty Simpson versus I think we're okay, and so forth, and instead of going to get a wide receiver in the draft and things of that nature.
As a Patriots fan, if they want to pay for AJ Brown and go get him, I can live with that as long as I can get Devontae Adams from them on the cheap. I'd rather Devontae Adams on the cheap than A.J. Brown for a lot. That's just me, right? So if they want to go get him, as a Pats fan, go get him. As long as you can give Devontae Adams to my team for like a 4th or a 5th rounder, then I'm good to go. I'd rather give up a 4th or a 5th rounder for Devontae Adams than a 1st rounder for A.J. Brown. For me. But, by the way, just to finish that point, let's be clear. Adam Schefter has told us a million times over, every Tuesday after 8 a.m. Eastern, go back on the podcast and listen. He's always great with us. It's trending in that direction. A.J. Brown for a 2028 first. He has never said it's a 100% done deal because it cannot be until June 1st. So there could be a team lurking that says we're not even going to call the Rams until the last day of May.
Now, I will tell you
the Eagles.
Now, I will tell you this. If the Rams go out there and they say, we'll see your 2028 first-round pick
Make it a 27?
with the 2027 first-round pick
That everybody
for
wants?
A.J. Brown, then guess what? I'm going to have a nice cup or shut the hell up.
Because then it's bleeped them picks.
Because then it's bleeped them picks, and then it's like, okay, that makes sense.
We're going for it.
We're going for it right now. Forget about the future. The future is now. We're trying to win with Matt Stafford. Yeah, we took Ty Simpson 13th overall with a luxury pick, but we always knew that we were going to go after A.J. Brown and use a future draft pick and mortgage that future for the now. If they do that, guess what? I'm going to shut the hell up, and I'm going to praise what the Rams did this offseason. If they don't do that and they don't win a chip, then yeah, you're going to hear me continue to criticize Les Snead for making that decision in late April.
We are Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installations with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
Avalanche, Golden Knights. It's the Western Conference Final, and Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan is all in. 1 hour before puck drop, we're live with full pregame coverage, keys to the game, bold predictions, and the intel you need. When the final horn sounds, we're not going anywhere. Instant post-game reaction. Every hit, every goal, every save. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
It's the Hello Summer Sale at Target. Now through Monday, say hello to 30% off select shorts and sandals, women's dresses and skirts too. Say hello to 30% off select Threshold bedding and bath. Oh, and hello 20% off sunscreen. Spray, stick, lotion, or mist, it keeps the sun fun. The Hello Summer Sale ends Monday, and it's only at Target, where getting summer ready is just one quick stop away. Restrictions apply.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She could get a deal. Book telehealth if she feel.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Summer is coming in hot. Don't wait. Beat the rush with an early bird cooling system tune-up and inspection for only $49 from Rocks Heating and Air. They'll inspect your system and keep you cool when everyone else is scrambling. Call ROX Rocks Heating and Air today and schedule your tune-up before the end of May. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
DenverSports.com, where Denver fans go for information, opinions, and to stream the fan. That's DenverSports.com.
This is the best of ESPN Radio.
Back on the Rich Eisen Show radio with WWE brand ambassador John Cena.
I like it. Got a good ring to it.
It does. You just said moments ago, our radio audience just rejoined, that your moment of fulfillment that you tapped out on, right? That was mixed reviews. Why do you think that was, John? Why?
Well, it's and again, I'm speaking from my perspective. Please. And I am aware that everything I say is going to create chatter, and that's a good thing because, hopefully people were interested. But there's no right way to please everyone when you're truly closing a 23, 24-year-old journey where, our fans have invited me into their living room 52 weeks a year, plus ancillary premium live events for 23, 24 years. The best you can do is do all you can. And honestly, that's where the moment of clarity and fulfillment came from, where it's like at the end of my physical journey in the WWE, after that last match, listening to the noise one final time, knowing that, man, I don't think I can't give another ounce. What a way to close that chapter. But it's not, it's a bold, creative decision, just like the John Cena heel turn is a bold, creative decision. You're not going to please everyone. Our fans are very vocal and very involved, which is why I'm excited about the future of what's to come, where we can try to involve them more and hopefully crowning a champion of the John Cena Classic. But it's those moments where you do take a risk. You do travel outside the predictable norm, and that incites conversation, and you got to be ready for all angles of that.
What can you tell everybody about any latest on the Classic that you just referred to, John?
Man, I can tell you I'm pumped, and I can tell you this is an idea from me, and I can also tell you that this is going to get a lot of chatter too, because the audience is kind of every which way but loose on this. Mm-hmm. I got the idea from that last event, that Saturday night's main event, where Gunther and I were the close of the show. But the idea for the open of the show and the way I wanted to promote it was, instead of doing a 90-minute tribute showing highlights and interviews of folks to essentially my career, there's no pay it forward there. So I chose to use the rest of the evening as showcasing marquee superstars as a way to get crowds in the building and keep them excited. You hear the music of your favorite superstar, that's great. And pair them up against the future of our business. Names like Soroka, Javon Evans, and certainly Obafemi, they all kind of debuted on our grand stage that night. And I thought the event went well. Not only was it well received by the audience, sans from my part in the ending, which is okay because I'm the polarizing guy. I can bear the weight on my shoulders. When I promoted it, people enjoyed the idea. When we executed it, people enjoyed the event. And more importantly, the talent. It's not like the talent aren't excited for an event, but the talent felt like they were part of something new, and that was really important. So I got the idea from there, and then I kind of wanted to extend it a little bit more. I'm like, how can we involve the fan base? So that's where the fan vote came from. And then I tried to take it a little bit further and saying that, like, man, if you're a talent and you go out and you actually tear the house down, but you're this close to winning and maybe you came up short, you still have the opportunity to be in the running to see if you won the fan vote enough to be crowned champion.
I love it, man. And there's so many projects coming up for you.
It's busy this time of year.
Dude, it's so great. I mean, Netflix's Little Brother, Michelle Monaghan and Eric Andre both have appeared on this program. Actually, Eric's going to be on the show on the 9th of June. That's coming out June 26th on Netflix. Coyote versus Acme in theaters August 28th. I think that needs no explanation what that's going to be about. The Apple original film Matchbox coming up, the movie, and October 9th. But you are here today to talk about something called DB. What is that, Johnson?
So it's the real condition is Demodex blepharitis, abbreviated as DB, and I guess easily communicated as eye mites. And Demodex blepharitis is when you kind of get overrun by eye mites. And I had this happen. And basically, it's when your eyes get itchy, they get red, and you get like crusties when you wake up. Especially I did. My vision is going, I like you, have a set of readers, and I always have them handy. Wow, the phone looks so much better with that, but I'll take them off. And my vision was going, but I had these ancillary symptoms, and I just pawned it off to old age. All right, vision's the first thing to go. This is kind of my life now, but I read a ton. I'm on camera a lot. And when you're on camera with these like bloodshot eyes and you're always itching your eyes and you have crusties and stuff, it just wasn't any good. I finally went to an eye doctor because I stopped being able to see driving at night. And like I was reading pages 3 times over. So I knew my sight was going. And he sure enough said, yeah, we're just going to get you low prescription readers. And also you have Demodex blepharitis. I'm like, say what? And it's pretty much when you get overrun by eye mites. And thank goodness, I'm very grateful for the partnerships I have. And this partnership with Tarsus is no different because Tarsus has the only FDA-approved treatment for DB. And before, they had to do all this stuff like throw salt water in your eyes, take your eyelashes out one by one. This is just a simple eye drop. And for me, 6 weeks, twice a day, my symptoms were greatly reduced. So I went in basically thinking that, I just needed a pair of readers. But because I self-diagnosed, it was so late to the party, man, was I happy to know that there was treatment. And I'm very proud of the partnership with Tarsus because we're spreading the word to try to get people out there like me. There's 25 million people that suffer with DB, and this is truly a way to get some real relief from the symptoms.
xdemvy.com for more information on this.
Look at you, man. You are a pro.
Come on.
You're doing my job over there.
No, you know what? Again, it's tag team.
I appreciate
you. Just tag me in, I tagged you in.
I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Come on. No, it's something I did not know, to be honest with you, existed before you and I just started talking. And
well, I say I value the partnerships that I have a lot. And this is no different than, I had a partnership a while back as an advocate for sunscreen. And I was an unlikely candidate until they found out, I've had 4 or 5 spots removed that are cancerous because I was an idiot and didn't use sunscreen. I'm very open about the fact that I've had a hair transplant. And this is just another line of a condition that I've had that I was like, man, I'm never getting rid of this. And then you find a solve. And you're like, I think more people should know about this. Mm-hmm. And right along the same time as that happens, the company who produces the solve was like, we need a reliable voice to help grow the reach of our brand. So again, this is serendipitous for me, and it's something I believe in because I suffered from it, and I suffer from it no longer.
John Cena here on the Rich Eisen Show. All right, I would like to jump into a couple of films of yours, sir. I mentioned LeBron before. Were you on the set at all? I know you weren't in any scenes with him in Trainwreck. No kidding.
Two shifts, man. Yeah. I wasn't lucky enough. I wish I had been.
Because I just remember seeing that movie in the theater, and I'm like, okay, I love Amy Schumer. Good Lord, who doesn't? But the two funniest people and Bill Hader, my gosh, two funniest people in the movie were LeBron and John Cena. Those. Man,
Train was loaded. They really
were loaded. I know.
All out that one. That was a very funny movie. I was very grateful to be put around a lot of funny folks and allowed to just kind of take some risks again.
You sure did.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Parents, looking for a fun way to get your kid active this summer?
Are you kidding me?
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan's third annual Be a Mentor, Be a Fan Youth Football Camp is back. Brought to you by Walmart. Saturday, June 27th at Denver South High School's All-City Stadium. Your child, ages 8 to 14, will learn the fundamentals of football in a safe, hands-on environment from people who played the game at the highest level. We're talking former Denver Broncos Mark Schlereth, Philip Lindsay, and Brandon Stokely, along with the trusted coaching staff from Denver South.
Don't give them room to breathe!
And every dollar raised goes to Big Brothers Big Sisters of Colorado. So your family is giving back just by showing up. Sign up today at denversports.com/camp. That's denversports.com/camp.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Thinking about starting weight loss treatment? GoodRx is here to help. We offer FDA-approved GLP-1 medications prescribed by licensed providers, including the Wegovy tablet, with straightforward pricing and pickup at your local pharmacy or delivery to your door. All from America's #1 prescription app. Go to goodrx.com/weight-loss to get started. GoodRx is not insurance. Cancel anytime. #1 prescription app ranked by a third-party study.
This is Terry Wickstrom. I want to tell you about a great new partner to Terry Wickstrom Outdoors, Mad River Mortgage, your reverse mortgage specialist. If you want to secure your rest of life housing, maybe come up with some extra cash, or have a line of credit available to supplement your senior lifestyle, call my friend Mike Rabin at 303-396-2804 and ask about an FHA insured home equity conversion mortgage, or go to madrivermortgage.com, NMLS 1504779.
DenverSports.com. 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 Hey, did we mention DenverSports.com?
With the NBA, where tonight it's Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Knicks and Cavaliers in Cleveland. Cavs will no doubt be in desperation mode after New York took the first 2 games at Madison Square Garden. You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio with coverage starting at 7:30 Eastern. Tip-off will be at 8 Eastern, and the game can also be seen on ABC and the ESPN app. Now in baseball, where the Cardinals picked up a road win in an NL Central clash with the Reds.
The 1-1 pitch is hit hard to deep right center field. That's back towards the track, and it's gone! Big fly, Jordan Walker! He homers into the bleachers in right, his 14th of the year. RBIs at number 37 and 38. And the Cardinals now lead 5-1.
That call on the Cardinals radio network, and St. Louis will go on to win it by a count of 8-1. Meanwhile, the Cubs are trying to avoid a 7th straight loss on ESPN radio against the Astros. Bottom of the 9th at Wrigley, it is Houston on top 3-0. Also in the 6th, the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead over the Pirates. Phillies and Guardians in a rain delay. Rays and Yankees, along with Orioles and Tigers, have already been rained out today. Tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs, it'll be the Hurricanes hosting the Canadiens in Raleigh. Montreal will look to go up 2 games tonight after taking Game 1 on Thursday. The Canadiens counting the regular season now 4-0 against the Hurricanes this season. A statement from Kyle Busch's family says the race car driver died of severe pneumonia. Pneumonia progressed into sepsis. On ESPN2, the semifinals of the men's lacrosse championship. It is Syracuse trailing Notre Dame 9-4.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Monday, we'll continue to react to the NBA Conference Finals. Plus, has Joe Burrow put extra pressure on himself? It's Unsportsmanlike 6 a.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Tonight on ESPN Radio, it's Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Brunson right side. Floater off the backboard is good. And the game is tied again with 101 with 19 seconds left. Mitchell right wing. Got a foul. Puts up a 3 and hits it. It's going to be a chance at 4 for Donovan Mitchell. Hart, corner 3. Good from the left side as Josh Hart hits his 5th 3. Hart now engages to the three-point line. Pull up three-pointer. It's good. Winning time again for James Harden.
This is Prime Time on ESPN Radio.
Come on. If I'm going to work with a guy named Dre, like we're going to open the show with anything else. Welcome in. It's Prime Time, ESPN Radio, the all-new ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80, and tune in. Join us with Andre Snellings, NBA senior writer for ESPN, Adam Kaufman. We've got you for the next few hours, counting you down to Knicks and Cavaliers Game 3. Is this going to be a series, or is Cleveland simply going to roll over? We're certainly going to get into some Spurs and Thunder as well. Like I said, we got guests on the way. We got a few hours to just riff here, count on a lot of hoops. Dre, what's going on, man?
I'm doing good. It's my time of year. I'm all about the hoops.
How you enjoying the semifinals of the league so far?
You know, Game 1s were both classics for different reasons, obviously. And so I loved that. I was kind of shocked that the Cavs gave up that lead there at the end, even though I thought they were going to lose that first game just because they were coming off of Game 7. But the way they lost it, tonight's really going to tell the tale of whether the way they lost that first game lost the entire series or whether it was just a bump in the road to something that could be better.
So the Knicks have won 9 straight playoff games. Only 9 teams in NBA history have gone on a 10-game winning streak in a single postseason. 8 of those teams have reached the finals. 5 of those teams have won the NBA championship. And obviously, the head of the snake, a team that has loads and loads of depth, as we know, and a Knicks team that is just honestly playing differently than it did under Tom Thibodeau, under Mike Brown. It just looks different. It feels different. Guys aren't being run into the ground. Depth has been incredibly important. But again, the head of the snake, that is Jalen Brunson. And right now, Dre, everybody, we live in this world of hyperbole. People want to observe something, witness something, experience something, and all of a sudden, it's a Mount Rushmore type conversation. And where does Jalen Brunson rank among all-time Knicks greats? Well, Jay Williams, ESPN basketball analyst, was on Get Up, has thoughts.
If you're a Knicks fan, you're saying, let's go to Cleveland and get one. Like, we get one, we come back, let's close it out at home, right? And if you think about the way this is lining up, let's say Spurs and OKC go to 6, they go to 7, and they beat the hell out of each other. And then you get a scenario in which you're playing in the NBA championship. A team is tired, you have a fighter's chance, right? And I will go back to saying this, because I said it a couple weeks ago. It was the first time I ever said in my time here at ESPN, I believe the Knicks can win a championship. 2 years ago, Alan, you and I were on this show, and I said to you when they were playing against Ball, I was like, hey, man, it's trending in this direction. I know they have to win a championship to do so, but I not only think that Jalen Brunson has been the best player in this playoffs because he's 6'2", and the difficulty in doing that at that size and that frame compared to the 7'4" alien on the Spurs, but if they win a championship, I said to you, I think he has a chance to be the greatest Knick ever. It's not only the way it's his leadership, it's everything. 14 assists last night, 28-plus points the night before. He just has a variety of different ways of showing up, and his toughness speaks for itself.
Dre, I knew going into the show that our producer, Josiah, wanted to get into a little bit of Knicks all-time talk, and I started just kind of thinking to myself, all right, if we're talking about the Knicks, 2 championships to their credit, a losing franchise all time, I think people just completely ignore that. How do you view a top 10, for instance? And I started really racking my brain, and then I start searching the web, and I come across an article that was written just a few days ago. And you know who slides in at number 10 on all-time Knicks players? Take just a stab at it.
Karl Anthony Towns?
John Starks.
John Starks, okay.
John Starks, who was a one-time All-Star, a Sixth Man of the Year, was an all-defensive team player, but honestly, like, please, I'm going to take this whole thing, the whole conversation with a grain of salt. If we're saying a top 10 player in your franchise's history is John Starks. But okay, let's talk about Jalen Brunson. How do we view Brunson as compared to, Willis Reed and Patrick Ewing and some of the great Walt Frazier, some of the all-time Knicks? Is Brunson, does he simply need a title to jump into that conversation?
I think he does only need a title. Honestly, if he even needs that, because for a few factors. One, when talking about NBA history, once you get before like Magic and Bird, I think the casual fan that probably wasn't alive during the Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed days, they almost feel like that's a BC. Like you hear that with the GOAT conversations. It's always Jordan and LeBron. It's very rarely Kareem, and it's never Bill Russell, right? So when it comes to the all-time Knicks, I think Jalen, for a lot of people's minds, he's battling with Patrick Ewing. And Patrick Ewing never won a chip, but he played basically his whole career with the Knicks.